Welcome to Looking at Legal Stuff. Today we have part 1 of an 8-part minor guardianship case consisting of 16 hearings, including 2 trials, the second of which is 4 days long. At the start of this case, the paternal grandparents already have physical custody of the child because Dad left his daughter with them after they kicked him out of their house for not taking care of her or following their rules. But this was not a court-ordered guardianship, so when Dad showed up at their house after 6 months of no contact and wanted the child back, his parents panicked and filed for a full legal guardianship. Dad is fighting this guardianship tooth and nail, claiming he's finally ready to be a good parent. The guardians claim that they've never kept their son from seeing his daughter, and they want him to take care of her, but they also want to make sure that he has the skills and resources necessary to do that first. They claim that Dad has always been a lazy and neglectful parent who has pushed off the care of his child onto the women in his life, and they're extremely worried about just handing the child back over to him, because Dad, who is 23, currently lives with his 52-year-old girlfriend and her sex offender son who isn't supposed to be around children. Are Dad's claims that he has a plan to keep the child safe and healthy going to convince a judge? Let's find out. This full case will be broken into 8 different 3-hour videos, so make sure you watch all 8 parts to see the full story.
All right, good afternoon. We're here on the guardianship of Jalen Sloan. I'm Commissioner Dave Nelson, and I appreciate everybody willing to take some time out of your Friday afternoon to be here. Before we get started, I think I need to define exactly what we're doing today. And I want to go through some of the procedural history of this case. So on February 9th, we had a hearing, and I confirmed with everybody at the time that we were there for a hearing on whether to approve the emergency minor guardianship. At that time, Mr. Anagnostou said that he was not ready, and Ms. Crape indicated she wanted to retain counsel. So based on that, we continued it to March 23rd. On March 23rd, Ms. Winkles had been retained, and she asked for a continuance. And it became clear to me that this was a case that was going to take some time for a hearing, but the hearing was still going to be about the emergency minor guardianship. So on March 23rd, we put this over to today. The briefing I received suggests that counsel may be under the impression that this was for the appointment of a full guardian. And I wanted to go through that procedural history because I don't think that's what we're here for today. We're here for the appointment of an emergency guardian, which would be good for 60 days. And then if a full guardianship is sought, and I know there's been a petition for that filed, that would have to be brought before one of the Superior Court judges. Does that surprise anyone, or what's let me know your response to that.
Yes, Your Honor. I prepped it for full minor guardianship because the petition was on, and sometimes they're conjoined. The fact is that it's actually more difficult to get the emergency than the full. So my hope is that my clients have, paid for my services, and should they not need me in the future, or should this court need any information, that essentially the information remains the same. And so if a full petition, the same trial briefing can be used. Or, Your Honor, I don't know if Kurt Anagnostou is in agreement. I'm not sure if the parties agree we can conjoin the hearings today and have it be on both. I'm not sure what Your Honor thinks about that, but it does make for judicial economy as well. It seems like it would be, because the emergency is more difficult to get, it seems like it would behoove everybody in the interest of time and money to combine them today's hearing. But if we can't do that, that's fine.
Mr. Anagnostou?
Yes, Your Honor. In fact, I was looking at that very issue when I received Miss Winkle's documents, because it appeared that she was proceeding under the statute that RCW 11-130-185, which talks about RCW 2609-004 and the parental duties, basically. And I thought for today we were going forward on RCW 11-130-225, which is a completely different standard. You know, they have to under, well, your honor's aware, but it's they only get an emergency guardian if it's likely to prevent a substantial harm to the minor's health, safety, and welfare, and no other person appears to have authority, ability, and the willingness to act to prevent substantial harm. So I'm prepared to go forward on that standard, that my client is, he has authority, he has ability, he has willingness, and there's no substantial harm, and he wants his daughter back under the emergency. And I thought that's what we're on for today.
And your honor, I was not under any misapprehension. The fact is that, again, like I said, it's more difficult to get. I briefed for the minor guardianship because ability goes back to the parenting functions, and we'll show through the rest through testimony what we need to prove in the emergency. It is purely so that my clients don't have to pay additional funds to then do something that has a lesser standard, and that's why it's been briefed in full. I think a briefing in full is always useful. It kind of marks what may happen in the future, and it will also assist in determining whether or not an emergency, whether or not a parent has the ability to parent.
All right, so we're going to proceed under the emergency minor guardianship statute. That's 11-130-225, and that is what I would anticipate counsel will argue. Otherwise, we can proceed with the hearing as you see wish, as you see fit. I would like to get this done by 4:30 if we can. So if you could calibrate your questions to try to get us there, that would be great. Okay. All right. Let's start with the petitioners, and Ms. Winkles, you represent them. If you'd like to make any kind of opening statement, please note that I've read your trial brief 2 hours ago, so I'm aware of what's in it.
Perfect. I will make it short then. As Mr. Anagnostou said, 11-130-225, it states that the emergency is appointed when it is likely to prevent the substantial harm to the minor's health, safety, or welfare. And I'll go through that first, but obviously in this case, we know that the minor's health when the minor was with father was a problem. This is a child that had a significant developmental delay, yet never saw a doctor. It was obvious to anyone that spoke to the child that she had a hearing difficulty, yet nobody did anything. This child went a significant amount of time essentially being deaf or near deaf to the world when she didn't have to be. This caused her speech delays. This caused her a whole host of other issues. She had to go into specialized learning because nobody did anything. Dad had her. Dad could have gotten state for the child. She, as you'll see from the medical records, was fully entitled to care and help for this. Nobody did anything. If she had remained in dad's care, it's likely that the child would still have had nothing done. And that child would be deaf. That child would have no ability to speak at this point. And there would be all kinds of learning and social difficulties that would arise from that. Father has done nothing that suggests that would change. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. Dad has not done any classes on how to take care of the health of a child. Dad has no job. Dad is unable to care for dad. You'll hear testimony today talking about how dad doesn't bathe. You'll hear testimony today talking about how dad works 9 hours maybe a week. You'll hear testimony today that if every family member told dad, you can't live with me anymore, that dad would be homeless. You'll also hear testimony today that dad's been kicked out of everywhere he's lived because of the same behavior that he has gone to no counseling to change, that he has not gone to any sort of treatment, any mental health evaluations. We have nothing from dad. But there are some things we do know about dad. And this goes to the safety and welfare of the child. Dad lives with his girlfriend. His girlfriend doesn't appear to have a criminal record. That's great. But what they failed to disclose to the guardian ad litem and what they failed to disclose to this court is that the son of the girlfriend lives there. Now, why is this a problem? Because he is a registered offender for rape of a child under 12. Dad, at one point, told the guardian ad litem he was going to move the child there. So at one point, dad believed in dad's mind that it was appropriate to move a young child that has no ability to speak or to do anything into the home of a registered offender who was already convicted of a child under the age of 12. And you have all those records in front of you in the trial exhibit. That is the inability to parent. You will also hear testimony, and the reason why I brought up the parental functions is because ability to parent is the innate ability to do those things if you have the opportunity. And dad has been given every opportunity in this case. He has been unable to parent. What do I mean by that? Dad doesn't change. When the child was not potty trained, dad would leave this child in wet clothing. The child would have issues because of this for hours. And you'll hear testimony about when dad was actually with her alone, that this child would go hours and hours without being changed because dad would delegate his parental functions to so many other people that dad didn't have the ability to do it himself. So when one woman would leave to go to work or whatnot, then the child would be with dad, nothing would happen. The child would eat candy, the child would eat snacks, the child would not be changed. Essentially, dad was waiting for the next woman to come home and to take care of these functions. You'll hear testimony today that dad has never actually been alone with this child. There's always a woman there that essentially does the parenting functions. And the reason for this is dad doesn't have the ability. His grandma's always there, his girlfriend's always there. You'll see the visits from my client where she writes down, even on the video visits, a video where dad physically doesn't have to do anything. Dad still needs reinforcements. Why? He doesn't have the ability to care for himself. He doesn't have the ability to care for this child. The fact is that if we end this emergency guardianship, there is nothing stopping dad from taking that child to the house of a registered offender, minus promises. If dad takes the child to grandma's house, grandma already kicked him out when he had the child for not parenting the child, for not being able to parent the child. This is a chronic problem. And the fact is there's probably a solution, and it's probably a mental health solution or something like that. We don't know, because dad has taken no proactive steps to do anything. He's not had mental health evaluations, not had treatment, not done any class for somebody that has the inability to parent. There's no dependency here because, frankly, there's other people to take care of the child, like my clients. Dad knew he was unable. Dad admitted he was unable when he gave over custody of his child to my clients. That was probably the most important decision he made, and the decision he made solely for his child's sake. He gave the child to them to watch. He knew at that point that he was incapable. And then dad didn't call her. Now, dad's going to give you all kinds of excuses about how there was a protection order in place. The fact is the protection order was only against Kelly. He could have contacted his dad at any time. You'll see the text where his dad tells grandma, have him call me. Did he call? No. He could have done any number of things to see his child. There was no protection in place against his child. He actively chose to not do anything. So that comes to the question of, why are we really here today? This man's never been alone with the child. This man's never taken care of the child. When he had the child, he essentially ignored the child playing on his phone. He let other people take care of the child, usually women. Why are we here today? And Your Honor, through testimony, it's going to be shown that we're here today because grandma wants to take care of the child. And that's not dad. And what that means is if grandma wants to take care of the child, she too acknowledges that dad can't do it. And the fact is that this child has thrived. This child went from nonverbal, non-hearing in dad's care to at grade level. This child can hear. She had surgery. She was put in programs. She's up to level. This is a child that can exceed all expectations if she's with somebody who has the ability to parent, that will look after her health and her welfare. Dad won't. Likely regression is what's going to happen here. We already see that dad he brings candy, snacks, and toys, as he said at that one hearing, to visitation. He doesn't bring books. He doesn't bring clothes. In fact, you'll see from the text, he always asks my client to have the child appropriately attired for their activity. He's always late picking up. He has all kinds of excuses. He doesn't have the health safety. He doesn't have the ability, the health safety to prevent the health safety or the welfare. The word substantial is incredibly important here. It is a substantial danger to the child when the father refuses to give the guardian ad litem where he actually lives, when he has no set plans in place, and the only place that is definitely available where he's living right now has somebody who raped a child. That is a substantial danger to that child. Furthermore, the inability to actually look after the health of a child is, again, a substantial danger. The fact that dad can get kicked out at any time, he's living off the kindness of strangers. If that kindness stops because he upsets them from lack of showering, lack of getting a job, smoking marijuana, whatever he's doing, we have now just made that child homeless too. And all because dad wants to parent, maybe. He hasn't really shown that either way in this case, but somebody wants him to parent, but he just may not be able at this point. So, Your Honor, my clients, I'm not even going to go through what they've done here. You've read it. My clients were given custody by dad. Dad knew that they were a good place. He chose them then. Things happened after he got mad, but he knew right then that they were the right ones, and they were. Child can hear, child's that age, child's doing everything that child should be doing. So, Your Honor, we'd ask for the emergency guardianship to be put back in place. And I believe then at that point, I've only been appointed in the emergency, but I will be filing to have that immediately heard on a trial. Thank you.
Mr. Anagnostic?
Yes, briefly, Your Honor, because I don't want to, I think we need to get started with trial. And counsel has brought up a lot of information that's not going to be before Your Honor in deciding this. It's difficult. Here's my issue. I got a young man who's trying to get on his feet, and he's young. He's a young parent, and he has the ability, as the statute sets forth, the ability and willingness to act. And we dispute any allegations that the child is in harm with my client. You know, he should have his child back. The allegations against my client, I mean, I guess they'll be based on the proof that counsel brings forth to Your Honor, but there's no indication, you know, this issue is complicated because my client cannot be alone around the petitioner because they've already charged him with a fourth degree assault, and he got criminal charges at least pending, but they were ultimately dropped. It was a restraining order, protection order that was ultimately dropped. He's not going to be alone with them, so he brings a witness, but he's doing the care of his daughter. But it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. So if he shows up alone, there's going to be issues that he, you know, antagonized him or did some problem. And if he shows up with somebody with him to be a witness, then they're going to complain about that. So he cannot win. He can't win. And if there's they want him to do classes, or if they wanted him to be evaluated, they absolutely could have requested that at any point up till this time. They didn't request it. And so here we are. You'll hear from him that he's a young man. He's getting on his feet. He has a full-time job. Those allegations that he's not working are just wrong. And his plan for his daughter, but he needs his daughter returned. The petitioners have taken advantage of him, and this needs to end.
Thank you. Ms. Winkles, you want to call your first witness?
Yes, Your Honor. I would like to call Kelly Craig to the stand.
All right, Kelly Craig, you want to raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings?
Oh, you're on mute.
I do.
All right, I heard that. What is your full name, please?
Kelly Christine Crape.
And that's C-R-A-P-E?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Ms. Winkles, go ahead.
Yes. How are you related to the parties in this case?
Kai Ludwig is Jalen's father, and he has been my partner for over 10 years now. Jaden, he is Jaden's father, and Kai is my partner.
Okay. And so you're kind of the step grandmother of the child, is that correct? Okay. And how old is the child today?
A little over 3, about 3.5.
Okay. And do you still have the child in your custody at this point?
I do.
At what date did you originally have custody of the child?
She came to, that's a hard one because I allowed Jaden and his girlfriend to come live with me. It was in, I believe, February, and in April, I believe it was April that he signed over custody of her to me.
Okay, and you're talking about
April of what year?
2020, I believe. No, I'm sorry. I don't have the papers in front of me. So it was 2 years ago. So 2021, maybe.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So in 2000, so you've had the child living in your house since 2021.
Yes.
Okay. And in that original time where Jaden lived with you, why was he living with you?
He got kicked out of him and his girlfriend's mother's house because he was not caring for his child.
Okay.
I'm going to object to hearsay nature of that answer.
I need a better foundation to see how she knows that information.
Okay. Had you ever been to the house where he was staying?
All right,
No.
I'm going to strike that answer if you're going to go on to a different question. Or are you trying to lay the foundation?
I was laying foundation.
I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead.
Had you personally ever been to the house that he was staying at prior to living with you?
No.
Okay. In that case, Your Honor, I'll just leave it where it's at.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'm going to strike that answer as hearsay.
Okay. And when he moved into the house, where did they both sleep?
In a back bedroom.
Okay. And was Mr.
I just need to interrupt a clarification. Both. Who are they talking or referring to? Both. Where did both sleep? Are they talking about my client and his daughter, or?
Why don't we clarify that?
Yeah. So you said when they initially moved in, it was Jaden and his girlfriend and the child. Is that correct?
Yes.
And so where did did the child sleep in the same room with them?
At times.
Okay. And when the child wasn't in the room with them, where would the child be?
In my room.
Okay. And if you had to put a percentage of time where the child was sleeping in your room on a weekly basis, an average percentage, about how much of the week was the child spent with you in your room overnight?
At first, not a lot, but as the time went on that they were there, it was more often. So I'd say 50 to 70% of the time. Towards the end, she was with me.
Okay. And why was she with you?
Because they were not getting up with her in the morning and caring for her first thing in the morning. And I would go in and find it to be 11 o'clock and Jalen was still in a wet diaper in her pack and play because they did not provide a crib.
You know, I'm going to object without a foundation as to when, you know, it's just like a blatant saying this happened all the time. When?
So you want to narrow it as to time frame. So let's do that.
And Your Honor, just to make a statement as well, if we're going to keep objecting, I think we're going to be past 4:30 here. I'm trying to actually go faster, so I can lay foundation down for every question, but we'll probably be here later on. All right, so you talked about them moving in February of 2021. In the month of February, when the child was staying with you, tell me what in that month, and tell me specifics about what caused you concern about the child not being cared for.
In the month of February, and in every month that they lived at my house, I would often find Jalen in wet clothes, wet diapers, in her pack and play, 11, 12 o'clock, hadn't been fed breakfast. If she's been fed anything, it was chips handed to her in her pack and play. She was not, a diaper bag was not being provided for her on outings. I would be providing all diapers, all wipes, all clothing, all toys, all food, everything for this child. There was never a time where Jaden nor Caitlin provided anything substantial for the child.
Okay. And did Jaden have a job then?
Jaden had various jobs through the time, none that he held for longer than a week. He would say that he was going to work, and Kai would take him to town and drop him off at the staffing agency. And because we had a COVID outbreak at the time, we had to try to get a hold of Jaden, and the staffing agency at that time told me that he had not been at work.
Objection.
Sustained. It's hearsay what she was told.
At any point, did Jaden admit to you personally that he didn't actually have a job and that he was pretending to have a job?
Yes.
And on what date did that occur?
The day that he was asked to leave. I'm not sure on the exact date, but the date that he came home and we had COVID, and we asked him about it. He said that he was actually hanging out with friends so he could have a break, and that we asked him to leave that day.
And did he tell you how long he had been without a job?
No.
Okay. And so let's kind of go back. So you noticed that there were significant issues in the morning with the care of the child.
Yes.
Tell me, from the time, let's start at 11 when you found the child, from 11 to 5 p.m. For the months of February, March, and April of 2021, who cared for the child the majority of the time?
Myself or Caitlin Boone.
Okay. And is Caitlin Boone still in the picture? Is he still dating? Is she still dating Jaden?
No.
Okay. And so about how much from February 2021 to April 2021, about what percentage of the day did dad do the basic tenets of parenting? By that, the definition, changing diapers, bathing the child, feeding the child, playing with the child, engaging the child, things of that nature. About how much time for the percentage of the day in those months would you say that Jaden performed the primary parenting functions?
So Your Honor, at this point, I'm going to object to this line of questions as to what does it matter going forward, what happened back in 2021?
And Your Honor, if somebody doesn't make active steps to change their situation and how they act, history is the best indicator of future behavior.
I'm going to overrule. I'll allow the questions, although I am going to be more interested, say, in the last 6 months rather than something that happened 2 years ago.
Okay. So we'll kind of move on. If you can answer that question though, about how much percentage of the time was he actually parenting?
Maybe 5%.
Okay. So 95% of the time he delegated it to other people. Is that right?
No, he didn't delegate to anybody. We just stepped in and did it because it wasn't being done.
And in April of 2021, he signed a document giving you custody of the child. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. On the date he signed that, until the no contact order was issued, about how many times did he visit the child?
None.
Okay. So at that point, there was there was nothing in place prohibiting him from seeing you. Is that right?
Correct.
And when was the no contact order put in place? Do you remember?
June 16th, I believe it was the date of my youngest daughter's graduation.
Okay, so for over 2 months, he didn't contact the child. Is that right?
I believe he would call Caitlin once in a while to ask about her. At this point in time, I was sending him pictures and letting him know how his child was doing, but there was not a whole lot of communication at all. He did not come and visit her.
Okay. And did the child have health problems when she came into your care?
Yes.
And can you tell the court about those?
Jalen at 18 months was not speaking any words. She was not even gesturing towards things that she needed. She, in my opinion, as an early childhood educator, was behind in a lot of her gross motor skills. That's climbing up steps, being stable. She couldn't verbalize that she liked something or disliked something, or that she was wet, or any of those issues at all. I couldn't even enroll her in childcare because her immunizations were behind. We had to get her MMR shot before we could even enroll
I'm
her.
gonna object to the hearsay nature of this answer at this point.
He's talking about her personal information, I think.
Yeah.
If she's talking about
What
medical,
part was, what
I
part
don't
was
have-
hearsay?
huh? Where she's talking about medical records, she's saying there's no immunizations and those type of things. Those are medical records that need to be introduced if they're going to do that.
And Your Honor, she's talking about her personal experience. We'll get to the medical records. We haven't got there yet.
She can testify if she brought Jalen to get vaccinations. I'll let her testify to that. Otherwise, if she's testifying about content of medical records, I'll sustain and strike that.
Okay, so you did you also notice an issue with her hearing?
Yes.
And tell me about that.
She wouldn't respond to verbal cues. She wouldn't, you could say her name and she wouldn't respond, wouldn't look at you a whole lot. She kind of just grunted.
Okay. And was it pretty clear that there was something going on with some part of her hearing?
I'm going to
Yes.
object to the leading nature of that question.
Okay, I can change it.
Rephrase it.
Yeah, I'll rephrase it. When you noticed these grunts and things, was it apparent to you what was going on? And if so, how?
Yes, it was apparent to me. I know that at 18 months, a child should be talking. And I feel like as a parent, when there's something wrong with your child, you get them checked out by a doctor. So when I noticed Jalen was not talking, we had her checked out by a doctor, and she had been suffering from severe ear infections and fluid behind her ear.
I'm going to object.
Okay.
To the extent that the doctors told her that, I'm going to strike.
And so I'm going to now have you turn to Exhibit 5, which is the initial evaluation. And do you have this in front of you? I gave you guys the trial binder.
It's Exhibit 5.
Yeah, Exhibit 5. Do you have this in front of you, Kelly?
I do not.
Okay, do you have the trial binder at hand anywhere?
I did not get a trial binder. I'm sorry.
Oh, Your Honor, can I share the screen?
We have put up some security measures.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I'm not sure that I am willing to do that
Okay.
at this point.
If Your Honor, if I can read a little bit to her so that she's aware of the document. I'm not sure how else to get it in otherwise. I mean, we're not at a trial, so technically, I guess I don't need to authenticate anyway, just her testimony. But I mean, she filed it as a document anyway in the case. I'm just kind of a little concerned that she didn't.
Let me hear from Mr. Anagnosto on that. Do you have any objection to the admission of Exhibit 5?
I am trying to find Exhibit 5 in her
Oh,
document.
they're all tabbed. They have bait stamped, page 68.
Page what?
68. Kelly, do you have your computer available? I'm guessing because we're a paperless office, they emailed it to you.
Okay, so I'm looking in my email as we speak. I'm sorry.
I will send it to you right as we are doing this, so you can have it up them over the easiest. Paperless office is not always useful. 1 second.
All right, page 68, initial evaluation from the Progress Center.
Yes, that is it. Hold on 1 second so I can give it to. Sorry, I have a broken hand, so bear with me because it's very difficult to type with a cast on. Oh. Okay, so Exhibit 5, I'm just going to send you the exhibit right now, just one at a time.
Okay.
So here is Exhibit 5, if you can pull that up.
All right, Mr. Anagnosto, apparently Ms. Winkles wants to read part of it too.
Oh, no, I don't need to now because I can send it to her.
Oh, okay.
Aaron, it is not coming through on my end. Did you get it, Kai?
Nope, I sent it to. Just make sure, hold on. And of course my computer. Okay, did it? Oh, postmaster, it's failed to deliver it. I'm going to send it to Kai.
Okay. He has his phone and ready to look at it.
Okay, I'm going to send it to the W6 one.
Okay.
Okay, that's been sent. Sorry, fix it.
Did you get it?
Yeah.
Okay. Make sure you check your junk mail just in case.
And Your Honor, I guess I would raise an objection that it's a hearsay document.
Ms. Winkles, why don't we address that?
Yeah.
The rules of evidence do apply to these hearings, so
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yes, so in a normal family law action, normal civil action, which this is a civil action, when it's a hearing, medical records are often introduced without a doctor's certification on them. There is an exception under in discovery for medical records. There is no ability to do an ER 904 in this case because this isn't a trial. The only way, as we stated earlier, we can't have it both ways. Either we're doing the full minor guardianship, which would make this a trial, or we're doing the emergency. If you look under RCW 11.130, 0.230, you'll see that this is a hearing. So an appointment of emergency guardian is determined on the basis under, it talks about the section, and then it talks about the outcome of a full hearing. The court may extend it pending the outcome of a full hearing. So what we are in at this point, and they can consolidate it, what we are at this point is essentially a show cause. And so I would argue that because it's a show cause, there is no need to authenticate documents, which is exactly how one gets into a family law case and puts documents into the file. So it's either a minor guardianship trial or it's a show cause hearing. If it's a show cause hearing, just having them in the record is enough to argue what the medical records say. And I can bring that statute up too if need be.
Well, I'm looking at the statute, Your Honor. I don't go into these hearings without this statute because it's complex, but 11-130-230, I think that's what she cited, is duties of guardian for minor.
No, I cited 225.
225.
Yeah, the one right before it.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, 225 is what,
Yeah, that's what I was citing.
yeah.
If you look at the bottom of that, it talks about how you can consolidate and go to the full hearing. This is not a full hearing. This is a show cause hearing, which is why it's done on an emergency basis, personally served, and then we show up in court for the emergency guardianship. So you don't have to authenticate evidence the same way, which is why medical records have an issue with authentication. But medical records are allowed in show cause hearings because it's just off pleadings.
All right.
And I can brief that. I don't know if somebody needs it, but I can brief that.
I'm-
That's why they're in family law.
I'm going to allow the medical records. I think, given that if they're identified where they're from, there is some sense of credibility and about them. And I think you're right that there's really no ability to do a 904 before this hearing, which is typically how they get authenticated. So I'll allow you to ask your client some questions about it.
Great. Thank you, Your Honor. Okay, you're on Exhibit 5. So looking at this, can you tell me what it is?
It appears to be the initial intake and medical history from the Progress Center.
Okay. And who took her to the Progress Center?
Caitlin at first took her and then did not follow through on appointments. So after she was in my custody, I then followed through and proceeded with the Progress Center for her.
Okay. And did Dad ever take her?
No,
Not one time.
no.
Okay. And what was discovered at the Progress Center?
That her speech was severely behind.
Okay. And did they put her on an IEP or any sort of program?
They put her on an IFSP, which is in sort the same exact thing as an IEP for children under a certain age.
Okay. And did you have to pay for that?
No,
Okay. And why didn't you have to pay for it?
because I have through Washington State Medical paid for it because it was a need.
Okay. So the child, regardless of her place with you, the child had a need and the state was providing for that need. Is that correct?
Yes.
If somebody else wanted to take, well, I won't need to ask that, but so her child or her health insurance through the state, was that through her? Who was that through? Was that through you or somebody else?
At first it was through Jaden. And then after he left, it then went through me.
Okay. But it was through him, so he could have also taken her to this Progress Center. Is that correct?
Yes.
And even if he had no job, there was no money due, correct?
No.
If I can have you, I'll send it to you right now. If I can have you tell me a little bit more about this progress report. So she was developmentally behind in speech. Did they notice anything else?
Her hearing. It said there was no information available regarding newborn hearing screening. It said that she has not had an ear infection. However, right after this, I did take her in to the doctor and she did have an ear infection. It also states that Caitlin made the referral and didn't follow up. There was concerns with Jalen's speech developmental due to a diagnosed developmental disorder, speech and language.
Okay, so she was diagnosed at this point with the speech and language difficulty.
Yes.
And is Jaden's name mentioned anywhere on this initial evaluation?
No.
Okay. And his girlfriend, it sounds like his girlfriend was mentioned a few times.
Yes.
To the best of your knowledge, your personal knowledge, had you ever seen Jaden express concern personally for the child's hearing?
No.
Did you ever see him express concern that the child of 18 months wasn't speaking?
No,
Had you ever seen Jaden make any proactive steps whatsoever to deal with any health issues that the child had while in his care?
no.
I've now sent you Exhibit 6, which is on page 69 is the cover, 70 is the next page.
Okay.
Okay. Can you tell me what this is?
These are Jalen's shot records.
Okay. And who took her to this appointment?
I did.
Okay. And at this appointment, did she receive vaccinations?
She did.
Okay. According to the doctor, in this report, it looks like her vaccinations were all done on one day. Can you tell us why all of her vaccinations were, it looks like they were all done 5/14/2021.
Because
I'm gonna object if she's testifying as to what a doctor believes, or, I mean, I'm not sure what.
Yeah, I sustained to the extent that it's going to reflect what a doctor told her. If there's another answer to it, then that she's personally aware of, then she can answer that.
Okay.
I
So
took her, I'm sorry. Can
So
I?
you made, oh yeah, go for it.
I took her to the doctor because at the time I was a assistant director at a childcare center. And in order to enroll Jalen into services at that center, she has to have certain immunizations that she did not have. So in order to get care for her while I was working, Jalen had to have all of these vaccinations at that time.
Okay. And
I object to the part of it where she indicates she had not had. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll strike the statement she had not had.
and Your Honor, again, we're going to be here a long time. I will be more than happy to go through each of those questions and do it. And that's what I was getting to, is to authenticate why she believed that. I'm not sure if that helps out at all. Wasn't going to just leave it like that. Okay, Kelly, did you have any personal knowledge? How change that? Why did you believe that the child had not had vaccinations?
First, because of the fact that when trying to enter her into childcare, I was told that she had to have these vaccinations to enter.
Okay.
And they did.
But how did you know she didn't have them?
So when you enroll a child in childcare, the director of the center pulls up her immunization records and then notifies you which vaccinations the child needs at that time.
Okay. And if you look at page 71, which is part of that, it's the next page in that immunization.
Yes.
That certificate of immunization.
That is.
This is a Washington State document. Is this what you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay. And on this document, when you took her, were the vaccines on this? Were there any vaccines on this document?
I am not aware what was on that document when I took her because I did not have access to this document when I took her in. I was just told that she was behind in some vaccinations that she needed to be enrolled.
She can't testify to what she was told.
Yeah, so I'm getting there. So the 12/8/2022, that's your signature there, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so at this point, this is the record of the child's immunizations, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Do you see on that record any vaccines prior to 2021?
No.
Okay. Had you ever discussed with Jaden vaccines for the child?
Yes.
Okay, tell me about that conversation.
When I was made aware that she could not enter into childcare until these vaccinations were made, we had talked about them. He admitted that she was behind in vaccinations. I had made her a doctor's appointment because I'd asked Jaden to several times and he did not. And I took her in to get these vaccinations. Okay,
so he admitted that he was behind. Did he give you a reason why he was behind in your vaccinations?
No.
Okay. And you stated that you'd asked him to call this the healthcare provider and set up the vaccine.
Yes.
And did he make any phone calls?
No.
Okay. Did he express any concern over vaccinations for children?
No,
Okay. Does he, to the best of your knowledge, your personal knowledge, does he subscribe to any faith or religion that believes in not giving children vaccines?
no,
Was there any justification he gave for why he didn't get the child vaccinated?
no,
And you eventually took her. Did you inform him prior to taking her that you were taking her to get vaccines?
yes,
Did he tell you, don't do it, I'll do it?
no,
Did he come with you?
no.
On the day you took her for vaccines, where was he at?
I am not sure.
And for any of the subsequent doctor's appointments prior to the no contact order, did he offer to go with you?
No,
Did he express any interest in the medical information?
no.
Did he ever ask to see any of the documentation?
I'm going to object to the leading nature of these questions. I mean, why doesn't the witness testify?
I'm going to overrule. Go ahead.
Did at any point did you let me ask this better. When you began taking her to all these medical appointments, did you have his name blacklisted or strike his name as being able to pick up any of the medical records from the facility?
No, actually, when I first started taking him, his name was the sole person on it, and I was the available person to take her to the appointments.
Okay. And I think we actually have that in here as well. And it was under his insurance and he was listed as the father, correct?
Yes,
Okay. And to the best of your knowledge, did he ever go and pick up any of the records from the facility?
not to my knowledge, no.
Okay. Did he ever ask to read them while he was at home, still living with you?
No,
And did you continue to take her to these evaluations?
yes,
Okay. And Your Honor, I don't know if we're admitting into evidence because it's a strange procedure, but I guess I'd like to admit Exhibit 5 and 6 in. I'm not even sure what the procedure is for that in a show cause.
Any objection, Mr. Anagnosti?
Well, yeah, I mean, the objection is that they're hearsay documents.
All right. So noted. I'm going to admit them.
Going on to and I don't want to belabor this point, but I think the treatment records are important, but I hate to take up more of the court's time. You just stated that you continue to take her to treatment. How often would you take her to treatment?
what treatment are you referring to?
The Progress Center.
Progress Center. She had Progress Center at first, I believe, every other week, and then it moved to every 2 weeks, and then it moved to once a month.
Okay. And what were they doing? What types of things were they doing at the Progress Center?
A lot of it was through play. So the her technician would come in, she would play with her, she would sign language with her and show her certain things, and we would work on getting Jalen to say these beginning sounds and such like that, but it was all play based.
Okay. And about how much of you, so she was in these play dates, but after that, was there any amount of time that you would spend also working on the child's speech and behavior?
Every single night.
Okay. And about how long every single night would you spend with her?
An hour, but again, it's play based, so it's not as if I'm sitting down making her say things. We would, oh, look at the ball, look at the ball, and we would go things like that. So in the evening when we got home, it was always about making sure we're talking with her and making sure we're pronunciating things for her and such.
Okay. And at some point, did that Progress Center come to an end?
Yes.
And tell me about what led up to that. And the
we were at our last
Excuse me, Mr. Ludwig, this is as if we're in court, so there's no smoking. Thank you. Go ahead.
At a visit before our last one, I believe her name is Jordan, told me that Jalen is doing. Sorry.
And I'm going to authenticate that document as well. So I guess, yeah.
The technician told me that,
I'm going to sustain that objection. She can't testify.
Okay, so wait 1 second. I'm sorry,
Okay.
my computer's a little slow. I've just emailed you exhibits 8 and 9. If it'll go through, I'm not sure what the problem is here. I'll be having internet issues. Bear with me. Okay, I have just sent you exhibit 8 and 9.
I'll try it again.
Did you get those?
Not yet.
no, not yet.
Counsel, I think we can get around the hearsay thing. If she can testify to when Jalen was discharged from Progress Center, and 9, she can testify as to her improvement in
Okay.
her vocabulary.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that they were in the record as well, but
I have
okay.
them now.
Okay, perfect. So the notice of discontinuation, that's exhibit 8. Is that the technician that you were speaking to earlier when you testified?
Yes.
Okay, and so according to this, can you tell us what date did they decide that she no longer needed the services?
Officially 3/24/22.
Okay, and on that, it says child met developmental goals. Can you tell us what that means to you based on this document?
Yes. Jalen was speaking at a normal level for her age. She was communicating with combined signs and verbal. They told me that services were no longer needed, that Jalen was up to her age level in the skill now.
Okay, and so by 2022, it sounds like a little over a year, I believe you said that she was with you earlier. She went from not being able to speak to being up to level. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and if you look at exhibit 9, and this is going back, it says it's a visit from July 30th of 2021. Tell me, is this an accurate representation of where she was just the year before? She's nonverbal, she says and babbles, but nothing else. Is that about where you remember her personally being?
Yes.
So in 1 year, she made significant progress with you
Yes.
as a parent. Okay. Now, how is she today?
She's very talkative, very spunky. She knows what she wants when she wants it. She tells people how it is. She's happy. She is bright and smart and knows her colors and can sing the alphabet, and she's exactly where she needs to be at her age.
Okay, and about how much time during the day do you spend working with her?
Every night when we get home. She is in preschool at the moment, so she goes to preschool all day, and then she comes home, and when we pick her up, we work on things, variety of things. Her toys are geared for learning. We work on her colors and her letters and her numbers, and just various things to help her learn for the remainder of the evening. She cooks with me. We learn about food.
And I'm sending you exhibit 7 now. And where does she go to preschool?
We care daycare and preschool.
Okay. And you worked at We Care in the past, correct?
I did, yes.
Okay. And were you in the same classroom? Or was she in the same classroom with you? No. Okay. And so she was there essentially all day in preschool. And was there ever a prohibition on Mr. Jaden Ludwig seeing his child at preschool?
No,
And the no contact order, who was that against?
me,
Okay. But there was nothing against his child.
no.
Going to, okay. Did Mr. Jaden Ludwig, prior to this court case, did he ever pick up the child from there?
I believe him and Caitlin dropped her off once, but never picked up.
Okay. And did they come to any of the functions that they have there, like open house or any
No.
of those things? And if you look at Exhibit 7, it says We Care Daycare time card detail. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay. And what is this?
This is a daily attendance tracker of what time Jalen is dropped off in the morning, what time she is picked up in the afternoon, and who is doing the dropping off and picking up.
Okay. And if you just scan through this quickly, looking towards the end, do you see the father's name listed on this document at all?
No.
Okay. To the best of your knowledge, as you stated earlier, I just want to make this clear. Jaden never picked the child up. Is that correct?
No.
And this looks like it goes from April of 2021 all the way to March of 2023. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And so for nearly 2 years, Dad never picked the child up from school, according to
I'm
this
going to
document.
object to the comment on the evidence. The evidence is the evidence, Your Honor.
Sustained.
To your personal, did Dad ever, after the no contact order was issued, did Dad ever call you and request to go pick up the child from daycare?
No.
Did Dad ever request records from the daycare?
Not to my knowledge, but I'm not the director to be the one asking the questions to. So I was never told that he has ever asked for any records.
Well,
Did he ever ask, and I was going to change that question, did he ever ask for the records from you?
No.
Did he ever ask you to discuss where she was at developmentally?
No.
Can you tell me what from his affect that you personally saw, from his behavior that you personally saw, can you tell me about how you gauged his level of interest in her education?
He has never gauged even to this day, any level of interest in her education. He has never asked where she's at developmentally. He's never asked if she's on par with what she needs to be doing. Nothing of that sort.
Okay. And so kind of moving on to things that are more current. Tell me, what happened? What precipitated the no contact order?
Let me, we may have to go into this, but I've read the police report. Mr. Agnostiu, would you agree that I could rely on the police report as to that incident? I understand the police report's hearsay, but we can move through this testimony if I can just rely on that.
That's fine, Your Honor. Yeah, I'll take that.
Okay. I've read the police report. I have a pretty good idea what precipitated it. I don't think we need to go into lengthy testimony on it.
Wonderful. Okay. So after the no contact order was put in place, at some point, let me say how to say this. At some point, the no contact order went away. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And when it went away, tell me about the first time you saw Dad after that point.
The first time I saw Dad after that point was quite a few months after the restraining order went away, and he came and took Jalen.
Okay. And you said quite a few months. How many months was it after the no contact order was dropped that you had any contact with Mr. Jaden Ludwig?
I believe it was 6 months, but I was not aware that the restraining order was dropped until he came to get her.
Okay,
Mhm.
so for 6 months, the no contact order's gone. And for 6 months, it's your testimony that dad had no contact with you,
Correct.
correct?
I
Did
guess
dad
I'm-
have any contact?
There's an objection here, Mr.
Yeah.
Allen.
My objection is to foundation. I mean, we're talking about, what 6 months period are we talking about? I mean,
Okay, I can.
sure what they're talking about.
Again, I'm just trying to go faster, but
Why don't we start with when did Mr. Ludwig show up to get Jalen?
when did Mr. Ludwig first show up after the no contact order had been dropped?
October 1st.
And to the best of your
Of
knowledge,
2022, excuse me.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
and to the best of your knowledge, do you remember the day the no contact order went away?
No, I do not remember the day. I'm sorry. Do you know the day?
And you can't ask him. I'll ask
Okay,
him. if he
sorry.
has one. Okay, so prior to the no contact, or sorry, prior to him showing up at your door, and we'll get to that. And what day was that again that he showed up at your door?
October 1st.
So October 1st, prior to October 1st, how long had it been since he had made any contact with you?
With me personally, the day that the restraining order came into place.
Okay. And to the best of your personal knowledge, so with your own eyes and ears, how long had it been since he had made contact with the child?
The same amount of time.
Okay. And had he made again, your personal knowledge, not what you've been told, so what you've overheard, had he made contact with anyone in your household?
Yes.
Okay. And who had he made contact with?
He made contact with his father.
Okay. And do you remember the date that occurred?
I do not remember the date. I do believe it was in February of 22, though.
Okay, so in February 22, you're personally aware that he made contact with his dad. And it's also your testimony that in October 2022, that's the first time he made contact with his daughter. Is that correct?
Yes.
During that period of time from February to October, at any point did he contact you and ask for visitation with the child?
No.
Okay. At any point that you overheard with your own ears, did he request visitation from any other person?
No.
Now, when he took the child, can you tell me about the circumstances of what did he do with the child? Did you have any personal information about what you saw or witnessed him do on October 1st?
October 1st, we were out birthday shopping for Jalen's 3rd birthday. And we got a phone call from Jaden's grandmother asking if we were in town because they were coming to get Jalen. Kai, what I heard on the phone, Kai telling his mother that if Jaden would like to talk about this, he could call himself, and he did. And he stated that he was coming to get Jalen. We got off the phone. We called the sheriff's office. We came to find out that the paper that Jaden had signed is not a legal affidavit, so he could have came anytime to get her. We were told that we had to relinquish her, and Jaden showed up, took her to a hotel room with himself, his girlfriend, the grandmother and the grandfather, and kept her overnight.
Okay, and that was in October of 2022.
Yes.
Okay, from June of 2022 to October of 2022, had you heard anything from father's side, I should say, requesting a telephone call with the child or anything of that nature?
No.
Okay. Where was Mr. Ludwig, Jaden Ludwig living, to the best of your knowledge, in June of 2022?
I have no idea where he was actually living.
Okay. Do you know where he was living in July of 2022?
No.
How about August of 2022?
No.
September 2022? How about in October when he actually came to get the child? Were you made aware from him, his personal words, where he was living at that time?
Not on October 1st. However, on Jalen's birthday party, later, I believe the following weekend, was told that he was staying at his girlfriend's house to get work. And then later on in the conversation, he was stated that he actually was living with his mother in a trailer in Reedsport. So there was two conflicting stories as to where he was actually living.
Okay, let's get the time for those. So when was the child's birthday?
October 11th.
Okay, so on October 11th, is that the date that he stated he was living with his girlfriend?
Yes.
Okay, and what's his girlfriend's name?
Michelle.
And what's her last name?
Oh, I'd have to look at it
Oh,
again.
it's
Sorry.
okay. Is it Michelle Harrington?
Yes.
So he told you on the child's birthday that he was living with Michelle Harrington. Where does she live?
In Silverton.
Okay. And then he told you subsequent that he was living with his mother. When did he tell you that? What date?
On the same day.
Okay. Where does she live?
Reedsport.
Do you know
Oregon.
where that's at in relation to Miss Harrington?
It's quite a few hours away.
Okay.
I believe.
And can you tell me, did he work at that point? Did he make you aware of any job that he held?
No.
Okay. Did you ask?
No.
Okay. And at that point, tell me, when did visitation with the father actually begin?
We filed papers that following Monday, and it wasn't until our very first court hearing that he was granted visits.
Okay, and what kinds of visits was he originally granted?
The first original one, the judge said he could have Saturday and Sunday visits and two calls during the week. Jaden stated that he could not afford to do both Saturday and Sunday visits. So the judge stated that he could stick with Saturday visits then, and then have 2 calls during the week.
Okay. And did you make any documentation, or how did you keep track of what was going on at that time?
In a spiral binder.
Okay. And you submitted those to the court in this case, correct?
I did.
Okay. And Your Honor, I'm having trouble pulling this up, but how did you keep track of it? Did you journal, or what did you do?
It's just a journal, the date, anything that pertained to the visit, if there was a visit, a lot of the times who was at the visit.
Okay. And so he starts these visits. Can you tell me, from October 22nd, 2022 to current, how many telephone visits, so the telephone calls only, has he been completely on his own for that visit?
None that I'm aware of.
Okay. Now, can you tell me, let's just go through some, if there's some that are completely outlined, we can talk about those. On the whole, tell me what happens during those visits.
On the telephone visits?
Yes.
He calls. I have Jalen the phone. Sometimes she walks around with it. A lot of the time she is in my lap. He asks her how she's doing, if she went to school, tells her he loves her, and asks her what he wants to do this weekend. And then it's kind of a repetitive thing over and over again. A lot of the times I will say, tell daddy what you drew today at school, tell daddy what you had for lunch, tell daddy what you want to do this weekend, tell daddy what sound Santa Claus makes. I'm trying to help the conversation along.
Okay. And does he do that himself? Try to ask the child those types of questions?
A whole lot of, what did you do at school today? A lot of repetitive, what do you want to do this weekend? There's not a whole lot more reaching after that.
Okay. Aside from dad talking, does anyone else engage with the child during those telephone calls?
Yes, Michelle.
Okay. And tell me about that. Tell me what you've personally seen.
I see that Michelle does talk to Jalen a lot. She asks her many questions. Jalen is eager to talk to Michelle. She often asks for Michelle. And they get on. Michelle will ask her how her day went and ask her if she's done anything today. Sort of the same questions, but a little bit more in detail.
Okay, so on the whole of those conversations, the telephone, what percentage of the speaking would you attribute to dad, and the percentage of speaking to Michelle Harrington, to the child?
Dad is definitely on the video calls more than Michelle is. But there's not a whole lot of real good conversations going on there besides me trying to help the conversation along. He will ask questions on the questions I've suggested, like, tell dad what you got for Christmas. Oh, do you remember that? And then he'll ask a question to it, and then I'll be like, tell dad this. And then he'll ask a question after I've prompted it.
Okay. And about has he ever missed any of those visits?
He has missed quite a few phone visits.
Okay. And about how many would you say he's missed since October?
I couldn't give you an actual number, probably 10, 15 maybe.
Okay. And you wrote them down, and my internet appears to
Yes.
not be working, but you wrote them down on the exhibit 10, which is your handwriting.
Yes.
Okay. And is that an accurate record, exhibit 10, of what was occurring at those times?
Yes. Very accurate.
So when it says no in-person or no show for call, that is an accurate statement of what occurred on that day of that visit. Is that correct?
Yes.
So going to the in-person visits, how many of those visits would he miss on average? So if you looked at the total amount of visits he had, what was it, one per week, correct?
Mm-hmm.
How many weeks would he go without a visit?
He's only actually fully missed a couple visits. There has been visits where he showed up incredibly late to, or asked to have early visits and then not showed up early for the visits, or dropped her off early from the visits.
And about how many times would you say he's dropped her off early from the visits?
Probably 10
times.
visits
since he started.
Yeah.
And about how early are we talking about?
Sometimes it's 10, 15, sometimes it's 30 minutes early.
And did he ever give you a reason why he was dropping her off early?
No.
Okay. And of all the in-person visits, have you ever seen him by himself?
There was one time where he stated he was by himself and had nobody with him. But I cannot actually for a fact know that he didn't have somebody with him at that visit.
Okay. And all the other times minus that one, you personally saw somebody else present for the visit. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And who was that generally?
Michelle or Teresa.
And who's Teresa?
Teresa is Jaden's grandmother.
Okay. And did you ever see him interact with the child during any of those visits?
No, only at pickup.
So they would pick up and they would go somewhere else. Is that correct? Yes. And when the child was returned to you, what was the state of the child?
Oftentimes she was dirty. There were a few times that she was wet, and Jalen does not like to be wet, so she'll make it very clear that she's wet. There was one visit we met at the Winco parking lot, and she gave me a hug, and the first thing out of her mouth says, "I'm wet. I need changed." So we immediately changed her pants right there in my vehicle in the parking lot. There has been times recent that she has pottied her pants, and then they have changed her, but stated that they could not find a bathroom.
Okay, what did you believe that meant?
That they were playing somewhere, and Jaden told one of them that she had to use the restroom, and they did not find a restroom.
It's speculation. Speculate.
I'm going to sustain both on that, and also she said Jaden told her, and that would be hearsay.
And to be honest, I was just trying to figure out how she was defining that, but that's fine. You now, so somebody's always there. Did he ever stay overnight with the child?
No, only that on that October 1st visit.
The October 1st visit when there was no court intervention at all. That's the only time. In the last 2 years, how many times has the child been overnight with her father?
One time.
In the last 2 years, are you aware of any time? Oh, let me clarify that. In the last 2 years, are you aware of any time, you're personally aware of any time that the dad has been alone with the child, alone, nobody else there, for more than 5 hours?
No,
When Mr. Ludwig lived with you, had you ever personally witnessed Mr. Ludwig changing the diaper of the child?
no,
In the time that he lived with you, did you ever personally witness Mr. Ludwig showering or bathing the child?
no.
During the time that he lived with you, how many times on average per week would you witness Mr. Ludwig bathing or showering himself?
Not very often. And if he did, it was prompted by his girlfriend, Caitlin Boone.
In the time since he moved in with you to now, have you personally ever seen Mr. Ludwig providing nutritional content? By that I mean not chips, not snacks, but actual something over a snack to the child?
No,
In the same 2.5 years, have you personally ever witnessed the father taking the child to a doctor's appointment?
no,
Have you personally ever seen the father reading a book to the child?
not by himself.
And what do you mean by not by himself?
There was one visit where it was a phone visit, and Michelle and Jaden took turns reading pages to her.
Counsel, one of your questions was, has the father ever had the child overnight? And I question, well, the court has not allowed overnight
Right.
visits. And so I don't know that question really elicits anything negative
So-
for the father.
Yeah, so that I'm from the next person that's going to testify, the protection order was dropped in June. So we're talking June to October, there's no protection order. And that is where that question becomes important. Unfortunately, I can't ask her because she doesn't remember the date of when the protection order was dropped, but there is a significant.
Your client testified that as soon as he came to get the child, she called the sheriff. So I still don't know how that's helpful, and how that's negative on the father, that he hasn't spent any overnight, because either I haven't allowed it or Ms. Crape hasn't allowed it.
Okay.
All right.
In that case, from the period of June 2022 to October of 2022, how many times did the father call the child?
Never,
In that same period, how many times did the father drop Christmas presents off for the child?
never,
In that, or not Christmas, presents of any nature for the child, sorry.
never.
How many times did he,
I'm going to object, Your Honor, at this point. I'm going to object. You know, it's obvious to me that counsel is going through the parental issues under 2609-0004 and not, prevent a substantial harm to minors' health, safety, welfare, and no person appears to have authority, ability, and willingness. I mean, we're off into parenting issues under RCW 2609-004 and not what this case is about.
and Your Honor, I would argue, I would argue willingness. If there's no protection order in place, if there's nothing of that nature, if the original custody order isn't valid, then showing the dad had absolutely no contact, including not providing food, money, or any assistance to the child, any bond with the child during that period of time, I believe shows that dad does not necessarily have a willingness to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the child. There's nothing in place preventing him at that time, no court order or anything of that nature. And dad not providing food, not providing anything to the child. And he had no idea.
Strand agnostic.
Well, it's just that, he hasn't had the opportunity. The one time that he came and got his child, they went out and filed this action and took her away. He's had the willingness. He just has the ability based on court orders.
And Your Honor, I'll get to that, but the fact is that he couldn't have seen in the future. So if he had tried that argument in June, if he had come in June, that argument would make sense. But in October, it doesn't make sense unless he has the ability to see the future in June and know what was going to happen.
All right. So I'm going to overrule the objection. I think the questions go to willingness and ability. However, I'd like counsel to be aware that I think you've made your point about
perfect.
3 times now.
Okay.
So, 3 times over.
Okay.
Also, I'm anticipating testimony from Mr. Ludwig as to whether he felt constrained on doing any of those things because of whatever factors were in play.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, Kelly, since October, or actually since June, have you? I guess I could go back in time. When he showed up at your door in October, did you immediately call the sheriff?
Yes, I called the
Okay.
sheriff beforehand because he was just going to take her, and I had no idea if it was a safe and healthy place. I anticipated, in my view of when he wanted her back, that would be a sit-down conversation. Let's figure out how this is in the best interest of the child, figure out those type of things, not just come and take her and be gone.
From the time that you realized the protection order was no longer in place, have you personally reached out to Jaden through him or through a third party in order to facilitate the bond between him and his child?
I'm a little confused on that question. Are we talking since the court proceedings have started?
Or before that, when the moment you became aware that there was the no contact order was gone, what efforts have you made to make sure that the child is protected, but also that the child has a bond with their father?
So I was not made aware until the October 1st date that it was there. However, since the court proceedings have taken place, I have offered alternative times for him to call Jalen. I have offered extra time during visits. I have offered extra days of a visit. I was made aware that they would be coming down for a Saturday, Sunday visit, but they were coming down mid-evening, Friday evening. And I told them that if they also wanted to see Jalen that Friday night, that I would be okay with that, since they are making that trip to see her, and I was not taken up on that offer. Jaden personally asked me if I would be willing to meet him and Michelle and have the families together and go to OMSI together. And I told him that whenever he was ready to do that, I'd be willing to do that also. When we show up to visits, I am super excited to see Jaden. It's, oh, look, your daddy's here. Oh, look, Michelle's with your daddy. When they leave, it's make sure you give daddy love bye-bye. Make sure you give Michelle love bye-byes. So to the best of my ability, I feel like I am promoting every relationship I can possibly with the two of them.
And you also have, as you testified earlier, you've tried to keep the child engaged on the phone, correct?
Yes.
And then there are some text messages in here concerning when they come to pick up the child. Have they ever requested clothing or other items to be sent with the child for their visits?
Yes.
Okay. And have you ever told them, no, you get your own, or anything of that sort of nature?
Only when we were already there waiting at the visit, when it was requested, like certain items to be gotten that I had not been able to get them for them, but I do supply a bag for her during all visits.
Okay. And of the requests they've made for additional things like comfy clothes and such so forth, have you always tried to endeavor to do to provide those things?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I want Jalen to be comfortable all the time, not just when she's in my care.
Okay. And can you look at the email? It would be Exhibit 10 that came to you.
Okay. Can you get me?
Exhibit 10 is her journal,
Yes.
another exhibit.
Yeah, no, it's just 10. I just want to authenticate it. It does.
Yeah.
Page are-
Okay.
It is page 109.
I don't have page numbers on that. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Can you give me a date?
Yeah, no, I just sent you the whole thing.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Exhibit
Okay.
10. This is the journal you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, and these are all the visits, and if they were, if they didn't happen, did you journal that?
Yes.
And if you gave them or if you offered more visitation, did you journal that?
I'm not sure that I remember journaling the more visitation. I was just making sure that I journaled when they happened and when they did not.
Okay.
I do have that through text messages though.
Okay, and it says December 26th rescheduled visit from the 24th. And
Mhm.
is that in December? Is that the type of thing you would do, is reschedule
Absolutely.
visits if need be? Okay.
Yes.
And then if you go to exhibit 11, which has also been sent to you. And who would often text you about the child?
Michelle.
Okay. And is this what this text message stream is? Is that between you and Michelle?
Yes.
Okay. And I notice it says, hi, I was wondering if we could pick Jalen up tomorrow at 11:45. We'd like to take her to the Children's Discovery Museum in Longview.
Yes.
Do you remember this?
I do.
Okay. And what did you say to that?
Absolutely.
Okay. And it says something great. I've already texted Kelly. Your grandmother is already bugging me. Was that to you?
No, that was, she had messaged me, but I'm guessing that she was messaging Jaden and messaged
Okay.
me by accident.
Okay. And they asked later on, it looks like, to pick up even earlier. And what did you say to that?
Yes.
Okay. And did you have any problems saying yes to that?
No.
Okay. And did they pick her up early?
No.
What happened?
I believe that they were running late. I'm not sure what I don't recall what the reason was, but I know that we had already left the house and that they were running late and they did not come get her at that earlier time.
Okay.
Council, can I have a time frame on when this was? What month?
What month was that, Kelly?
March of 23.
All right, thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. On mine, it shows up on the picture. Is the copy not good enough on yours?
Okay, I've got, looks like 127.
127, and then for that one, and then the other one is 313. It's
Okay,
really
yeah.
light though.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So do you have any problems with the child having a bond with her father?
No, I've actually promoted it. There's actually been times during the week that it is not a call time. And we were talking about her dad or something came up about her dad and we'd call him.
Okay. And since you've been around the child so much, what do you personally believe would make it better for the child? How to put this? You're obviously not a medical expert and I'm not asking that, but is there anything that would make you personally more comfortable to having dad have expanded visitation with the child?
Knowing maybe having Jaden have some time alone with her so he could actually take care of her. I don't know if I'm out of line for saying this or not, but during these 5-hour visits, it's fun time. And parenting a child for 5 hours at a bounce house is very, very different from parenting a child for 2 days and providing naps and bedtime routines and such like that. So I would be more comfortable if Jaden would be at these visits by himself and doing these things for her.
Okay. And do you know where Jaden lives today?
Jaden lives in Silverton with his girlfriend.
Okay. Are you sure about that? Because it appears from some of the reports that were put in that he may live with his grandmother. Do you know anything about that?
I know that he has stated to the guardian ad litem, in the report that she gave me that he lives there,
I'm gonna
but
object to that answer.
And I don't need to go into that, but do you?
So I'm going
100
to strike that answer as
Do
hearsay.
you personally know for certain 100% where Mr. Ludwig resides?
yes,
Okay, and how do you know that?
he's told me.
Okay, but if he's told someone else something different, has anyone, to your knowledge, your personal knowledge, ascertained with a 100% certainty where Mr. Ludwig actually resides?
No, not 100% certainty.
Okay. To the best of your knowledge, has he ever provided, since this case started, has he provided any presents or anything for the child since this case started?
Yes, so he will often get little trinkets out of the machines and bring toys and such like that to the visits.
Okay. And does he bring food to any of the visits or anything like that?
Applesauce sometimes and Gatorade.
Okay. Has he ever taken the child out for a meal or provided a dinner, like an actual meal to the child since October?
I'm gonna object. I'm not sure how she would know what he does with the child unless she's following him.
I think you need to rephrase
Okay, I
it
will.
if she was told.
Absolutely. Did anyone tell, so
Not
actually,
anyone if
yeah,
Mr. Ludwig told her.
my apologies. Did you ever feed the child any significant amount of food for the child after the child was returned to your care from one of
Yes.
these visits?
I'm sorry, what's the question?
I'm asking, did she feed the child
Oh,
after the child was returned to her care after being with dad?
Yes.
Okay. And what time did he generally drop the child off at?
Most of the time it's between 4:30 and 5 unless he's late,
Okay.
which is rare that he's late. It's normally early. So I would feed her dinner
Okay.
right after the visit.
Okay. And would she generally eat the majority of dinner?
Yes.
Okay. And did Jaden or did Michelle, did either of them ever speak to you about what food they provided during that visit?
A lot of the time it's McDonald's.
Okay. And who would tell you that?
Jaden or Michelle.
Okay. And did they tell you about anything else that they had brought for the child?
There has been a coworker of mine has witnessed them at a Mexican
Okay.
food
And
restaurant.
I'll get
Sustained.
Okay, sorry.
okay. Was there so there's something about scratches on the child's stomach during one of these visits. Can you tell me about that incident or what?
Absolutely. Since Jaden has been placed in my care, as soon as she wakes up every single day, the very first thing she does is lift up her skirt or her shirt and scratch her belly. This has been documented at daycare. This has been known to anybody that has taken Jalen for any length of time knows.
The hearsay part of this answer.
Okay, only what she personally knows.
Okay.
Okay, so has anybody in your household ever touched the child in an abusive way that you
No.
personally seen here?
No.
Has the child ever disclosed to has the doctor ever informed I'm trying to normally I go out things different because it's a little different when you have the medical records. Have you ever engaged with CPS because of the child since the child's been in your care?
Have you ever engaged? I'm
Have you ever
sorry.
engaged with CPS during the time that the child's been in your care?
No.
Now you have
Not
another
for Jalen's purposes.
so you have
Sorry.
another child that also lives in your home, correct?
Yes.
And it's not biologically yours, right?
No, he is my foster child.
Okay. And was there a home study done for that foster case?
There absolutely was.
Okay, and that was entered into this case as well, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm that case study, I mean, I don't know what we're doing here for these, but normally it would just be in there. But you passed the case, essentially the home test, and you were able to foster the child, correct?
Yes.
And does the child have any special needs?
Yes.
And what are those?
Tyler is autistic,
Okay.
very low functioning autistic.
Okay, and how is he doing developmentally in your care?
He's doing well. He has thrived in care with us. He goes to school. He is talking more now. He is bright. He's happy to be here.
Okay, and you have your career history. What is it?
I'm sorry, what was that?
What do you do for a career?
I am a director at multiple sites of a early childhood education that is trauma-based.
Okay, and what's your education in childcare? What
I
kinds
have
of?
my associate's degree in early childhood education.
Okay, and so you actually have training in providing care to children of what ages would you say?
Normally birth to 5. However, my specialty can go up to the 3rd grade.
Okay. And just jumping around, have you ever seen your husband on more than one occasion in the last 12 months consume more alcohol or consume alcohol to the point of being intoxicated?
Absolutely not.
Okay. To the best of your knowledge, has Mr. Jaden Ludwig ever had an apartment or any other housing in his name, in his own name? Okay.
Not that I know of.
Does he have a driver's license to the best of your knowledge?
To the best of my knowledge, he does, but I've never seen it.
Does Mr. Ludwig, to the best of your knowledge, have you ever seen him with a car that he owns?
I've seen him with a car, but I'm not sure who the actual owner is of the car.
Okay. Since the time you've known Mr. Ludwig, have you ever been personally aware of Mr. Ludwig being employed for at least 35 hours a week for a period of longer than 6 months?
No.
To the best of your knowledge, has Mr. Ludwig ever gone to like a university or college to obtain a degree? To the best of your knowledge, is Mr. Ludwig in any sort, has he provided you, I should say, with any sort of treatment records or evaluations or anything of that in the last 12 months?
No.
Okay. To the best of your knowledge, has Mr. Ludwig given you any document or any evidence or even said to you anything about any program or facility or class or anything of that nature to assist him in parenting his child or to assist him in bettering himself?
No.
Is there, I think that's it. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Anagnosta, before we do cross, I need to take a break here. So it is, let's say 3:10. Let's be back at 3:20. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Oh,
We'll go off the
Kelly, I'm
record.
going to call you.
Right. Thank you.
All right, we're back on the record in the case of the guardianship of Jalen Sloan. Mr. Anagnosta, if you want to cross-examine, you may at this time.
Yes, Your Honor. I guess the question I have for you is you indicated that you're promoting time with the father and you want expanded visits with the father on direct examination. You made those statements.
I said that I would promote extra time with the father. Yes.
Okay. So what extra time would you promote?
I have offered extra long visits. I've offered extra visits. I've offered extra phone calls, that type of thing.
Okay. On direct examination, I thought it was implied, maybe it was just implied that he would have overnight visits with his daughter.
Your Honor,
I-
I'm going to object to that
I'm asking.
characterization.
Well, he can ask what her opinion is of overnight visits.
Right.
Is that what you're asking me, is what my opinion is?
Yes.
Okay, my opinion is, I believe that in order for Jaden to build a relationship with Jalen, an overnight visit would be appropriate if it were maybe local here, so that he would actually be getting full quality time, and that we're aware that he's not taking her to an unsafe situation.
Okay, so you're not opposed to overnight visits. You just don't want him to have them down in Oregon.
I don't want Jalen to be in a car for 6 hours on the weekend and have a chance to go to a convicted child molester's house.
All right. So you're aware, or maybe you're not aware, that the visits would not occur at Michelle's house.
I am aware that they're not supposed to occur at Michelle's house.
Okay. So if he had an overnight visit, let me put this to you. If he had an overnight visit and he took Jalen to his grandmother's house in Toledo, Oregon, wouldn't you be able to confirm that?
How would I be able to confirm that?
Wouldn't you be able to call her, call Teresa Ludwig and talk to her and or Jalen?
And then I would be accused of not of interrupting their time. I'm not sure that me confirming anything would be my job to do. I don't confirm now that he's still in Longview when he's here.
Okay, so I just want to get this straight, Ms. Green. You don't want him to take Jalen to Michelle's house, and you don't want to confirm if he takes Jalen to his grandmother's house in Toledo.
I'm sorry, but if we are at the point to where I have to confirm where he's taking his child, then maybe he's not ready for overnight visits. I don't confirm now. I don't believe that putting a child in a car for 6 hours every weekend is an appropriate use of time spent with her. And I don't believe, nor should the law believe, that he should be taking her to Michelle's house. But if he would like to come up and have an overnight visit up here, I would not be opposed to it.
So that's your recommendation on promoting more time with the father.
I'm sorry, what was that?
That's your recommendation to the court about promoting more time with the father, expanding visits. That's what you said on direct, that you were interested in expanding visits, and I'm trying to explore what your idea of that is.
Yeah, I would also encourage Jaden to call more often.
Okay. Now you're aware that my client has brought several motions to expand visits on even on the weekends here, and you have argued against those.
I have not argued against them. Sherry Farr, the guardian ad litem, has argued against them.
Okay. If my client testifies that he is speaking with a appropriate daycare place in Toledo, just correct me if I'm wrong, you're going to say,
Your Honor, I'm going to object to hypothetical question about something that doesn't, he's essentially asking her to predict what her future behavior would be on something that doesn't exist at this time.
I'm asking her this, Your Honor. I want to know how my client can take Jaylyn to Toledo and put her in school there without Ms. Crape saying, well, I don't have any confirmation and I'm not going to get the confirmation myself.
Okay,
And-
let's not,
Well,
just rephrase the question.
all right.
I think you say if your client had daycare, would she be comfortable with her going to Toledo?
That's the question, ma'am.
I'm sorry, the question is what again?
The question is if he has found an appropriate daycare for Jalen in Toledo, would that is that okay for him to have custody of his child in Toledo?
No.
No. Why?
Well, just because Jaden can prove that he can drop his child off at a daycare doesn't prove that he is an accurate parent for her, an appropriate parent for her.
Okay. What are the other complaints that you have for him to be an accurate parent?
I've already stated them with Miss
No,
Erin.
I want to hear him now. I'm asking you the question, ma'am.
Your Honor, I'm going to object to his essentially badgering and it doesn't, she's asked and answered. And the way he's asking, I'm not sure if there's a question or what's actually being asked here.
I think counsel can ask, but the tone is a bit badgering.
I apologize about
Why
the
don't you
tone,
just
Rob.
ask a factual question about why she doesn't feel that he's an appropriate parent at this point? Or ask it your way, but don't badger.
I appreciate that, Your Honor. I am. Let me ask you this question. Is Jalen happy and excited to see my client when he shows up?
Yes.
Okay. And do they have a close relationship?
As far as I can tell, she's happy and excited to see him when I'm around.
Okay. And your complaints are all regarding what has happened in the past about appropriate medical care and those type of things.
And currently.
And currently, how can he do? Let me ask you what currently issue you're concerned about with regards to her medical.
He's never asked about anything medical about Jalen. He's never asked about doctor's appointments. He's never asked about the process of tubes in her ears. He's never asked me about medication she's on, anything like that, except for when I had to give her Tylenol.
And so if he is found and already ready to have her being taken care of by medical professionals in Toledo, you're unaware of that.
No, he's never mentioned that to me at all.
Okay. If he has, does that make a difference to you?
Of his parenting,
Yes.
I don't know that if anybody can find a doctor. So with Jaden's parenting, it is, in my opinion, the lack of wanting the knowledge that is at him right now.
Can we take a break? Ms. Farr has raised her hand. I think she may want to say something. Ms. Farr, did you need to state something to the court?
Your Honor, I was only just asking if we could turn the videos off, except for whoever's testifying.
Sure.
It's very hard to pay attention to what's going on with all the distractions.
Okay. I will adopt that. So if you're not testifying, go ahead and just turn your video off for right now. Okay, thank you. That just leaves Ms. Crape and the court and Mr. Agnostu and Ms. Winkles if she wants to have her video on. Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Agnostu. I think your last question was if he located medical professionals in Toledo, if that would be sufficient.
Right.
No, I answered that question. I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Yeah, I believe she did.
I guess I need to know what the answer was because I got sidetracked with this.
I think she said anybody can find a medical professional anywhere. That would not be sufficient.
Okay. All right. What would be sufficient with regards to medical?
I believe that Jaden should know currently what is going on with his child medically. I think that he should want to know. I think he should ask questions about it.
All right. How old was Jalen when she came to live with you?
Right around 18 months.
And children, correct me if I'm wrong, but they don't start talking until about 2.
You're wrong.
I'm wrong?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So my experience in my family.
You're wrong. Yes, I
Mhm.
answered that.
Right.
As an early childhood educator, I have
No
plenty of
question
experience
before, Your Honor.
in
No
doing
question.
ASQs
No
on
question.
children.
There's no question
of-
before you,
Ma'am,
What
ma'am,
is
you
appropriate?
you have to wait for a question. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Anagnostou. Mr. Ludwig, you'll have an opportunity to testify later in this proceeding.
You received a no contact order against my client.
Yes,
And if my client would have violated that, was it your intent to report that?
if he would have violated a no contact order in contacting myself, I would have.
Okay. And do you know if he understood that?
I think that would, how am I supposed to know what Jaden understands? I have no idea what.
Well, I don't know if you told it to him or not, or got the word to him that if he violates this, I'm going to report him. And
I had a no contact order. I did not violate that order.
and you believed that order was in effect until October of last year.
Yes,
And at any time up until October, if he would have contacted you, you thought it was in effect, you would have reported it to the police.
yep,
And when he did contact you, you did report that to the police.
yes.
Now, my client has been pretty good about making his visits with Jalen. You agree with that?
What visits are you referring to?
The in-person visits where he comes and sees his daughter.
He's missed a couple.
Right. And isn't it true some of those were because of very bad weather during the winter?
One has, and we made that up. I suggested a makeup visit for that.
And for the most part, he's made all of his visits.
Except for the couple that I've just told you about, yes.
And when he shows up, Jalen's happy to see him, and she jumps in the car and they take off.
Sometimes she's a little bit more shy at first. Sometimes she hides behind legs, and Jaden and I talk for a little while. She warms up. I say, let's go to daddy. And she goes to daddy. She says hi to Michelle.
There has been a problem with some of the phone visits because of his work schedule. Do you agree with that?
I don't know what the problem is. For the phone visits, when he doesn't call, he doesn't notify me why he's not called.
Right. You have dogs in your residence, don't you?
I do.
How many dogs do you have?
I have 4 grown dogs and puppies at this moment.
All right. And none of the scratches on Jalen have come from the dogs. And
No.
in the guardian ad litem's report, and this case was filed under the name Jalen Sloan.
Yes.
All right. And isn't it true that my client's name is on the birth certificate?
Yes, but neither your client nor I was aware of that until I got the birth certificate.
Right. And you filed on February 7th of this year, 2023, you filed an exhibit list with the court. And the first document there is Jalen's, or second document is Jalen's birth certificate was listed.
Yes, because I obtained that.
So you obtained that. And I noted in the guardian ad litem report that it went on and on and on about whether my client has a legal right to his daughter. Did you see that?
I'm not the guardian ad litem, but once I gave that report to you yourself and the guardian ad litem and my lawyer.
Okay. But you're not questioning his legal authority as the father of Jalen.
As far as I know that he's on the birth certificate, he is her father.
I don't think I have anything further.
Redirect, Your Honor?
Yeah, redirect, go ahead.
Okay. Now, we were talking about overnight visits, and I know that you had mentioned earlier that you have no problem with overnight visits. Your question about overnight visits, do you believe at this point in time, as of today, that Jaden has the ability and willingness to take care of the child's health and safety and also her welfare overnight alone as of today?
Not alone, no. I would be comfortable if Michelle were present.
Okay. And when you say you have no problem with overnights, you're talking about in the future, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And what do you believe Mr. Ludwig would need to do, and be it classes or be it counseling or be it mental health, what do you think he needs to do to get to that point of overnights, in your opinion?
I believe that counseling would be appropriate and maybe some parenting classes so he can understand what is appropriate for a child. He often doesn't, in my opinion, understand what a child needs and doesn't need. And having her for 5 hours and taking her to the bounce house isn't necessarily ideal parenting. So she's going to be excited to see him. I fear that for a length of time, when it comes to things like bathing and nap time, he's not going to know how to fully do those things for her. And as a matter of fact, I believe the judge last time we were here said that he needed to be aware of her nap time. And at every single visit that they've had to, I've asked him if she's taken a nap, and he has stated no, that she has not.
Okay, so even though you expressed concern of the nap time before, he still is not putting her down for nap.
Correct.
Okay. And so you would like to see some evaluations and some classes before he moves to that overnight, correct?
Yes.
And has any of his behavior changed, his ability to parent, his ability to protect, and all of the things that we had before with the health, the ears, and the developmental delay? Have you seen him actively go out and do anything to change that type of behavior that led to those issues going unresolved?
No.
And would you like to see some sort of proactive classes, and you said parenting classes, but some proactive classes for himself as well?
Yes.
Okay. And to the best of your knowledge, at this point, what were you informed by Jaden? How often does he work as of today?
So as I believe that he works at Pizza Hut, 9 hours-ish a day.
Okay. And is that by grandma? Is that by girlfriend?
I thought that was by girlfriend.
Okay. And when you said you didn't want to confirm where he was at, is that because you believe that for Jaden to have the ability to have overnights, he needs to be honest and forthright to this court and not parented by somebody else? Is that kind of along the line?
Yes. If I go and confirm what Jaden's doing at their visits, is it really Jaden taking care of Jalen? If I have to confirm that he's with grandma and what he's doing at grandma's house, then it's me parenting and me overstepping.
Has Jaden ever taken care of himself to
No.
the point of being, okay. Has he ever independently provided for his own needs?
Not that I'm aware of.
So he essentially takes voluntary donations to be able to have his own life. Is that correct?
Yes.
And he's not receiving any government benefit for housing or anything of that nature. Is that correct?
I have no idea.
Okay. And so additionally, we're talking about the overnights. You continually mentioned alone for the shorter visits, expanded visits, but alone with neither grandma nor girlfriend. Is that because you're concerned that most of the parenting functions and the protection functions have been done by these women?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And then let's go to the visits. The list that you put in at Exhibit 10, there are a significant amount of no-show for calls. It looks like to me about at least 3 to 4 per month. Was that about right?
Yeah.
Okay. And about how many in-person visits did he miss?
Just a couple that I can remember. And one was, in his defense, one was due to weather, and I suggested we did a makeup day for that.
Okay. If Jaden breaks up with his girlfriend, and how do you remember how old's his girlfriend?
I believe she's 52 years old.
Okay, she's 52. And how long, to the best of your knowledge, how long have they been together? Do you know?
I believe 1.5 years.
And how old's Jaden?
24, 23, 24.
If she broke up with him today, and if grandma kicked him out of the house, where would he be living with that child?
Object this speculation.
I withdraw the question. Finally,
So that question's withdrawn.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
do you have concerns that Jaden has taken the child over to Michelle Harrington's house without knowledge of the court or yourself?
Not at this time, because the visits aren't long enough for him to do so.
Okay. And if the visits were 12 hours, for example, would you, or let's say a day, but not an overnight, would your concern be there, or would it not be there at that point?
I do believe it would be there, just because of the sex offender living in the house, and that is his home. So
Yes.
I know that he would want to take the daughter to his home.
Okay. And so for the time being, what are you thinking of in a phased approach? Because we mentioned overnights, and obviously I wanted to make sure that you clarified to the court what you meant by that. But as of today, where Jaden's at today and his ability to protect this child's health, safety, and welfare, what would you see as being a reasonable amount of time if he were to do it by himself?
I think that we should continue the way we are, but by his self visits.
Okay. And is there any third party in the area that would be able to provide a house that you know of, so that they don't have to go to the bouncy house, so he can be a parent in a home?
Yeah. So we have Lisa Conley, or Greenwalt. She has been a friend of mine for a while and has remained in contact with Jaden for the last 3 years. As a matter of fact, I believe that Jaden told her he was pregnant with, they were pregnant with Jalen before he even told me. And I am aware that she has offered him a place to stay at times, so he can see Jalen.
Okay. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. I have a couple questions. I've got text messages both from your attorney and Mr. Anagnostu. And my sense is that your communication with Jaden at this point, and let me say Mr. Ludwig, is pretty good at this point. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, so as far as I was aware, when we do visits and pickups and stuff, we're very cordial to each other. We sometimes sit there and talk a little longer than just pick up and drop off. If he were to have any concerns, he tells me. If I have any concerns, I tell him. So if there's times where if we're already in town and be like, hey, do you want to meet in town so you don't have to drive all this way? It's been a very cordial back and forth with each other.
I understand you won't forget about the time that led to the protection order, but it sounds like you both have been able to learn to have a relationship relating to Jay Lynn that is beyond the protection order at this point.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I have no problem. Like he suggested, we go to OMSI, all of us together. I thought that was a great idea.
Okay. Okay. I don't think I have any further questions. Do my questions lead to any other questions, Mr. Anagnostu?
Yeah, Your Honor, before I quit my cross-examination, I told my client that I potentially could talk with him to see if there was anything he needed me to ask. And I was wondering if I could be put in a breakout room with him for a minute, just to see if there's anything I missed.
Sure, I can do that. So we've got, okay, just hang on. We'll go off the record for a couple minutes while they have a discussion.
And Your Honor, I'm assuming we're gonna have to do more of this on another day. I had surgery, and yesterday, unfortunately, I had another procedure done on the hand that it's my right hand as well. If we do like set a date, I'm concerned that it would need to be really, really soon because I have more surgery.
I may not have the ability to do it. I'll have to discuss it with you and Mr. Anagnostu.
That's perfect. I just wanted to put that out there.
All right.
Okay, I think we're back, Your Honor.
Any further questions?
No, I didn't have any further.
Okay.
No, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Crape, thank you for your testimony, and the court appreciates it.
Thank you,
Ms.
Your Honor.
Winkles, I don't know how quickly you can get through your
Very quick.
lay witnesses. That would be not Ms. Farr, but because I think it's obvious we're going to have to come back at some point, and if we could keep them from having to come back,
Perfect.
that would be helpful.
Yes, Your Honor. If I can call Lisa Green. Oh, are we on the record?
We are now. Yes.
Okay. If I can call Lisa Greenwald to the stand.
Okay.
Hi.
Ms. Greenwald, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings?
I do.
All right. What is your full name, please?
Lisa Louise Greenwalt.
And that's GREENWALT.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Ms. Winkles, go ahead.
Yes. How do you know the parties in this case?
I have been lifelong friends with Kelly Crape. And then I met Jaden when he came into Kelly's life. He was maybe 10. That's kind of a guesstimate. I've remained mutual friends with both of them since day one.
Okay. And even after the protection order was entered, so after the protection order was entered, what was your relationship like with Jaden then?
I stayed in communication with him. multiple times on social media. I reach out to him, make sure he's okay, how he's doing. Just my mama heart, making sure he was okay, he had a place to live, he was safe. I checked in with him on a regular basis.
Okay. And was that even when he was living outside of the area?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And did he respond to you?
Yes, he did.
Okay. Would you say that you have a close relationship with him?
I did up until I would say about a month ago. I wrote a letter to the courts around October, and I believe those were submitted. And after Michelle and Jaden, I'm assuming, was able to read what I wrote, they did stop communication with me. Michelle has blocked me on all social media.
Okay. But you were in contact with Michelle before as well? Okay.
I was. I met her at the birthday party. I believe it was October 8th. I introduced myself, had great conversation with her to get to know who she was. And we did have a little bit of Facebook Messenger communication after the birthday party.
Okay. And what did you write about that you feel upset them?
I wrote testimony on, or I wrote my statement on my opinion of Jaden, his parenting, my concern, his lack of involvement.
Okay, so let's start with that. Have you personally witnessed him parenting the child?
On a few different occasions. I wouldn't call it parenting. I did see him with his child, yes.
Okay, so on the occasions, can you tell me when was the most, well, obviously he hasn't had the child in a while, but let's go back a little bit. About how many times would you say you've seen him with the child?
I'm gonna say maybe 10 times.
Okay, and tell me what overall you took away from each of those times, or as a whole, what type of parent was he? What did he do?
He was unfortunately very uninvolved. He was gaming a lot. He would have some headphones on, cell phone in hand. Jalen was tended to by other members of the household or of the family, or myself when I was there. We would be playing with her. We changed her. Dinner time, it was us making sure she had a plate of food to eat. I didn't see him initiate any of that or attempt to take that duty as a dad.
Okay. Did you ever see, in those times that you were with them, did you ever see Jaden change a diaper?
No.
Did you ever see him feed the child?
No.
Okay. And you said he was on his game? What?
He had like a gaming system. I don't know. I'm not good with gaming systems, but it was like Xbox, maybe PlayStation-ish, one of the two, or a cell phone.
And when he was on a cell phone or the gaming system, did he expressly ask somebody else to take care of the child, or did he just kind of do his own thing and hope somebody did?
I felt he just kind of did his own thing, knowing somebody else was tending to her.
Okay. Did he ever, when you were with him, did he ever leave the child alone to go do something outside, like smoke a cigarette or go on a walk or any of those things? And tell me about that.
At Kelly's house, I mean, he would just come in and out of the house. I mean, I don't know where he was going or what he was doing, whether it was go to the shop, go to the yard, smoking. But I mean, he never made sure somebody's, oh, can you take care of Jalen? I'm going to go outside for a minute. There was never that type of communication. He'd just waltz out.
Okay. Do you think he has the ability to protect the child's health and safety and welfare?
I'm going to object. That's speculation.
I'm just asking her opinion on what she, based on what you personally witnessed, do you think the child, and just based on that, I'm not asking you to look forward or anything like that, but just based on those times that you've seen, do you feel that he is an adequate person to protect the child's health and safety from and welfare from just those times you've seen?
I'm gonna
don't answer that yet. Mr. Anagnosto, go ahead.
I can try to change it.
I have an objection to the witness testifying as to a legal standard. I mean, it's calls for a conclusion.
I can lead up to it.
I'm going to sustain on that grounds. I think if you could ask her if she saw him or saw him protecting her
Yeah.
safety, protecting her welfare, her actual observation rather than something in the future.
Yeah. If while he was playing his video games and things of that nature, did the child ever walk out of the room or do anything so where the child wasn't visually in his line of sight?
Yes.
Did he get up and ask any questions at that time about where the child was?
No.
About how long between when the child walked out of the room and he was sitting there playing, do you think lapsed before he noticed that, or he made any attempt to find the child?
Sometimes hours I was there. She would waltz out of the room, come out. She would just be in the living room with us, and I could leave the home and not even see Jaden's face again. He was in the bedroom on a gaming station.
Okay. And you said you have a good relationship with him. His stepmom testified that you knew that he was having this child before she did. Is that correct?
Yes, he did reach out to me to tell me that him and his girlfriend at the time were pregnant. He did ask me not to tell his dad or Kelly, and I kept my word.
Okay. And so the times that you've seen him parent, in your opinion, just based on what you said, he just hasn't parented, right?
No, and the most recent time I witnessed their interaction was at her birthday party on October 8th. And
tell us about that. Tell us about the event and what happened.
I knew ahead of time Jaden and his girlfriend were invited to the birthday party. I was excited to see Jaden. I hadn't physically seen his face in a while. When they arrived, Michelle came into the facility we were having the party at. I introduced myself to her. I asked where Jaden was. She said outside. Knowing Jaden was probably uncomfortable coming into this situation because of their history, whatever it may be, I went outside to him and I gave him a hug, told him I was happy to see him. He chose to smoke a couple cigarettes before coming into the facility, and I walked in with him because I wanted him to be comfortable. I didn't want it to be awkward for him. The hour maybe we were there, I felt he was very withdrawn from her, like he wasn't quite sure how to act or what to do or the appropriate measures. He did give her some quarters and put them in a machine, and she did ride the machine. I did encourage him to hold her so I could take a couple of pictures. So those would be, they would have them. Very unengaged. He didn't know how to act or what to do. And it was sad. It was very sad.
Okay. And that was just October of 2022?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And did he seem interested in the child? So you said he didn't seem like he knew what to do, but did he seem interested in providing any sort of care to her?
No, not in my opinion, no.
Okay. And at some point, they're saying one of the arguments here is that he didn't know that he could have visitation with the child prior to that. Had you spoken to him before October 2022 about your house being available as a place to have the child come?
I would have to look at the exact date, but I did tell him I had a spare bedroom. That may have occurred in October, though, unfortunately. If it occurred before October, I don't recall, but I know in October, after the birthday party, I did reach out to him and said it was really good to see you today. And I did let him know I'm putting my spare bedroom back together. So as court proceedings went on and he testified he didn't have a place to see Jalen in the Longview area or a place he could utilize to go overnight for, say, a back-to-back visit, was upsetting to me knowing that I had offered that to him and he never utilized that avenue.
And is that, I know that there's been some issues in the last month, but is that offer still there?
I think him and I could talk. I'm concerned with the girlfriend blocking me, and I would feel weird about her at this point because I'm not sure where that came from, but I would be open to talking to Jaden and having a conversation with him.
Okay, so you have, and let me understand this, you have a relationship with both of them, correct?
I thought I did, yes.
Okay.
I know I did with Jaden, definitely.
Okay, and you with Kelly as well?
Absolutely.
Okay, and your daughter, you have a daughter, is that right?
I do. She's an adult. Yeah, she's 21.
And she's friends with Jaden, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And so so I just want to make sure I get this right. Your only reason for being here today is just for all the
I'm going to
parties.
object to the.
I'll withdraw. Why are you testifying today? Because I didn't subpoena you. So why are you here?
I'm going to object. That's for.
Let's hear the objection first, Mr. Anagnosti.
Well, I'm not, it's an open-ended question. It's not asking for any facts about what's going on in this case. Why are you here? That's just an open-ended question that's not relevant.
Well, I always assumed we were supposed to do open-ended questions, but I essentially.
I'm gonna overrule. I think it goes to her potential bias, which, you know, is an issue I guess the court can take into consideration. So let's leave that question. Why are you testifying today?
I am here because I want what's in the best interest for Jalen. I'm here to witness what I've seen and what I know that pertains to the case. Basically, I just sum it up. I want what's best for Jalen, and I feel an unbiased party to it. I feel like I have a friendship with Kelly. I've had a friendship with Jaden as well. I feel like I can speak for potentially both sides on what I have witnessed and the communication I've had with both.
All right, thank you.
And based on what you've seen, do you believe the child is safe with him overnight?
At this time, no, I don't.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Anagnosti, cross-exam.
You indicated that you had saw Jalen with 10 times.
Maybe give or take. I frequent Kelly's house. We've been very close. Our kids all grew up together. And at one point in time, I mean, Kelly and I, we had a duplex together. We raised our children together. So I frequent her house.
How old was Jalen when these 10 times occurred?
I would say between 18 to 20 months, maybe, give or take.
All right. And that was when my client was living with Kelly and Kai.
Yes, correct.
So he's living there and you went over there approximately 10 times. Were these social events?
Sometimes just for fun, just to see Jalen, to see the kids. We hang out, we have coffee, we plan dinners together. I mean,
okay, so there's
all the time.
There's a group of people together. Is there, from your point of view, a requirement then that my client be hyper vigilant of what his daughter's doing in a group setting?
To some extent, as a parent, yes. If
Okay.
my child left a room, I would be out there hightailing it to make sure somebody is in that room, to make sure she's not, I mean, at her age, she's not putting a penny in her mouth she may find on the floor, or picking up a color crayon, and make sure there is a parent that knows she ain't in this room with me no more. She should be under someone else's eyes.
All right. And you're aware that my client came up to pick up Jalen on October 1st of last year.
Yeah.
All right.
I heard about it after the fact.
And that they filed this petition to get emergency custody, and you joined in that.
I don't know how I joined. I was later asked to write a
Okay.
statement, and I did that. If that's what you mean by joined, then yes, I did that.
You've joined in this petition for emergency custody.
Yes, by writing a statement, if that's my joining, then yes, I did.
I'm gonna.
And so
ask
you,
object to
you,
ask and answer.
Just a minute. What's the objection, Ms. Winkles?
Just asked and answered. He's just asking the same question.
Okay, go on, Mr. Anagnoskin.
thank you. You have not had an opportunity to see my client around Jaylyn, but for the birthday party in October of last year. Is that correct?
Since he left Kelly's house, that's the first time I've got to see him with Jaylyn. Yes. That was the first and last time I physically saw him with his child. Yes.
I don't think I have anything further, Your Honor.
Right, any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Let's try to get one more witness in, okay?
Yes, Your Honor. Can I call Katie Hyla to the stand?
Ms. Hyla, do you want to unmute yourself and turn your camera on? Thank you. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings?
Yes.
All right. What is your full name, please?
Kathleen Lynn Hyla.
And that's Hylla.
Correct.
All right, thank you. Ms. Winkles, go ahead.
Yes, Your Honor. How do you know the parties in this case?
I was the director for the childcare that Jaylyn attended and where Kelly was the assistant director.
Okay. And were you the director of that program throughout the entire period that the child went there?
No, I started after she was already enrolled.
Okay. And during that time, can you tell me, did you, how to put this, during that time that you were there, did you ever personally see the father come to the facility to pick up the child?
No.
Okay. And did you ever receive any requests for information about the child from the father or anyone acting on behalf of the father?
I apologize, Your Honor, if I interrupt counsel, but what period of time are we talking about? I don't know the period of time.
So this would be in 2021. Gosh, this was, I know I ended employment July 2022, and so I began in May of 2021 over there.
So the period, during the time period you worked, you had never, had you ever received any requests for information about the child from the father or someone acting on behalf of the father?
No.
When you first engaged the child, was she at a level that you normally see, you personally normally see with other children of the same age?
No.
Okay. And tell me what differences did you notice?
Her speech was delayed. We assessed children on something called an ASQ, which stands for an Ages and Stages questionnaire, which indicated that she was behind and needed a referral for additional screenings from an actual medical provider, because this is just a screening that we do at the childcare. And that indicated that she was behind in some areas of development. And so speech was the main area that she was behind in at the time.
Okay. And the referral that you made, do you remember who the subscribing member was on that? Whose the insurance was through? Because obviously it's through the state and the child, but do you remember who was the parent that was the enrolled party on that?
I think at the time it was Kelly Crape.
Okay. And did you personally see anybody working with the child to develop these skills outside of the medical professionals?
Well, Kelly at the center would work with her out. I hung out with Kelly outside of work hours, and we would do activities together, and she'd be working with Jalen. The teachers at the center were working with Jalen. There was the Progress Center, who weren't medical professionals, but educators and speech language pathologists that would come out to the center and work with her. And so those were some of the people that helped her.
Okay. And have you had any personal contact with Dad? Have you ever seen his parenting or any of that?
No,
Okay.
I've never been.
And you left in June. Have you seen the child recently?
I see her over FaceTime.
Okay.
The last time I saw her physically, I think, was in July.
Okay. All right. I know for further questions, but thank you.
Mr. Antonostou, any other questions?
Yeah, you indicated that you hadn't had any contact from the father. At any point did you reach out to the father to give him information?
No, I did not have any contact information for him.
Okay, nothing further.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Ms. Winkles, do you have any other witnesses?
I do, but I'm in a lot of pain right now. Can we just take a 5-minute break? I'm so sorry. Or does that just put us too late anyway? Okay,
How long do you think your witness will take?
5 minutes. Actually, let me just call him to the stand. I'll suck it up. I can suck it up.
Yeah, we need to be wrapping this up in the next probably 10 minutes. So
You see me moving about and grimacing, though. That's why.
okay, who is your next witness?
Can I call Cameron Cannon to the stand?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Cannon, is it?
Yes.
All right. If you want to raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings?
I do.
All right. What is your full name, please?
Cameron Bryce Cannon, Cannon.
All right. Thank you very much. Ms. Winkles?
Yes, Mr. Cannon. How do you know the parties in this case?
I met Kai in 2012. We worked at Lowe's department store.
Okay.
And then shortly after, I had met Kelly Crape and the rest of the family.
Okay. From the time period of, let's just do January of 2020 to present, about how often would you say you spend any amount of time over at their house? So let me try to rephrase that. But are you there every week? Are you usually at the house?
So normally speaking, almost every weekend.
Okay, so you're at the Ludwig Crape house almost every weekend?
Yes.
And about how long have you been doing that? About how many years now?
I'd say 10.
Okay. And in that time, did you meet Kai's son, Jaden?
Yes.
Okay. What type of relationship did you have with Jaden?
Not right at first we were close, but I haven't really communicated with him since, like, just him and I.
Okay.
I haven't.
About how long since you and he haven't had a close relationship?
I'd say about 5 years-ish.
Okay. And was there a reason that precipitated that?
No, not really. It just, we stopped talking.
Okay. And were you ever there after he had the child? So were you ever there when he and the child were both present in the house?
Yes.
Okay. And tell me what you witnessed. Give me just like the average time that you'd be there. So you'd be there on the weekend, both he and the child were there. Tell me, what were they both doing?
Again, sometimes he would be on video games or whatnot. And then when I would walk in, Jalen would run up to me and give me a hug and all that, and then set her down, and then she'd go back to her table or go to her toys. The interaction wasn't really there
And
with
by
him.
by interaction, are you saying the father and the child weren't interacting?
Yes,
Okay. And was so when you were there, the father and the child weren't interacting. Where was the father at?
he would be playing video games.
And where was the game console at?
Sometimes in the living room or back bedroom.
Okay. And when he was in the back bedroom, would the child always be with him back there?
Not always.
Okay. Did you ever see the child kind of on her own without dad there?
I didn't pay attention.
Okay. Did you ever get an overall sense of his parenting while you were there?
Kind of push it off on other people.
Okay. Did you ever talk to him about what you saw?
No, I did not.
Okay. Did you ever see anything that made you really concerned or made you pause and be fearful or anything of that nature?
Just the simple fact of not really trying to take it upon himself to take care of her and always having others take care of her.
Did you ever see him change a diaper when you were there?
I did not.
How about feed her?
No.
Did you ever see him, because you were there quite a few hours, is that correct?
Yes.
Did you ever see him put her down for a nap?
No.
Did you ever see anybody doing that with the child? Anybody doing those functions?
It would either be Kelly Grape or Kaylin Boone when they had lived there.
Okay.
But I physically did not see him do any of that.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, cross-examination.
Yes, Mr. Cannon. So you indicated you would visit Kai Ludwig and since about 2012, is that right?
Yeah, roughly. I think it was like March is when we originally met.
All right. Are you aware of that he was previously married? Mr. Ludwig was?
Yes.
Were you aware that he got charged with basically a misdemeanor for tearing a mirror off his wife's car?
No, I was not.
Okay. Are you aware if he has a temper?
No.
No? Okay. Are you aware that he drinks?
No.
Your Honor, I'm going to object. This is going well beyond the first line of questioning. I mean, the scope of this cross isn't really cross. It's things that weren't even brought up in the initial questioning.
Mr. Anagnostou, so the objection is it goes beyond the scope of direct.
Well, her direct was asking him that how often he goes there. He's there almost every weekend since 2012. I want to know why. Figure out why.
Well, he didn't ask that question. He asked about drinking and criminal things that aren't even, criminal past that isn't even, it's not even admissible.
All right, I'm gonna overrule because Ms. Winkles has established a long relationship. I think Mr. Anagnostou can probe it. Go ahead.
So, Mr. Cannon, under what circumstances were you coming over? You're just hanging out with them? Is that?
Yeah, we were just friends and just something to do because I don't have that many friends in my life, and we just became close, and so, I would just go up there and.
Okay, you'd go up there when?
Saturday, it would be anywhere from like 12 to 9:30, 10 at night.
Okay. And it was just a matter of hanging out. You guys.
Yeah, whether barbecues or just coming up for dinner.
All right. And at any of those incidents, did you ever see Mr. Ludwig get angry with my client?
No, I did not.
Okay. Are you aware that they have dogs?
Yes,
And how many dogs do they have?
they have 4 grown ones and then puppies at the moment.
And these are big Mastiff dogs, is that correct?
There is 1 Mastiff, and then the other one is, I do believe, a healer, and then the other one's a mix.
All right.
And the 4th one was from the first litter.
I don't think I have any other questions, Your Honor.
Right, redirect?
Just briefly, have you ever seen the child be mauled, jumped on, pushed down, scratched by those dogs?
No, I have not.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Cannon, thank you for your testimony, and that will conclude it. All right,
Thank you.
we're at the end of the day. Obviously, the case is not over with. Here's the reality around here. In order to get another slot that is either half day or whole day to complete this case, you're going to need to go to the trial setting docket. I can't set it from here. And
Can you put us on that docket though, Your Honor? Or do we have to do a docket notice?
well, we can put you on it, I guess. Can we do it as soon as next Wednesday?
Is that the 10th? I will be totally unavailable on the 10th.
How about the 17th?
I will make myself available on the 17th. Absolutely.
We're checking to see if it's if there's too many cases.
There's only 5 on.
Okay, we're going to put you on for the 17th. I'm also going to do an order pre-assigning myself to the case for the purposes of the emergency minor guardianship. And then you'll need to let Bree know that it needs to be set in front of me. I would put it on for a 1 day at this point, and they're going to have to find a day when they can put it on.
And Your Honor, just so you're aware, Mr. Anagnostou is as well, I'll be filing a trial setting notice for the full minor guardianship at that time.
And if you want to do that on the same date, I understand that. All right. What I've heard here today so far is that I think Mr. Ludwig is improving his parenting skills. He's spending more time. When I look at the records that Ms. Crape has kept of the visits, there is a lot of contact. There is a lot of time together. Ms. Crape has indicated she would be comfortable with an overnight visit if Michelle were present. So I am considering allowing 1 overnight a month that would have to remain in Washington. I'm thinking anywhere from, if they want to go up to, let's say, Great Wolf Lodge for the night, I think that would be okay. Or, you know, a motel in the area. I don't know if they'll feel comfortable using Ms. Greenwald given an apparent falling out, but I'm interested in Ms. Crape if you'd feel comfortable with that.
No, it's a hard one for me, Your Honor, because I feel like I do trust Michelle's judgment more than I trust Jaden's. But if we're going to say that these are for Jaden's sake, then Jaden should be able to take care of her on his own, and he can't. So I guess, am I comfortable with it? No. Will I help facilitate it if you tell me I have to?
Well, we're taking minor steps. And it seems to me that is probably the next minor step. The other minor step is on the other visit. It looks like the visits are first and third weekend. I don't know, or are they every weekend?
Your Honor, at this point in time, they're every weekend.
Okay. So
Your Honor, if I get, my client would like to say something, if you could.
let me finish with
Okay.
Ms. Crape here. I guess what I'm thinking on one or two of those weeks, I'd like to see with just Mr. Ludwig without somebody else with him. And that would be just a day visit that I would allow that. Mr. Ludwig, do you want to go ahead?
So, Your Honor, my quick question is just a quick question. So since I was listening throughout the whole court case, since I was here for the court case and everything, from my understanding that Kelly Crape just said prior to this question that you just asked of me having overnight visits, if it's okay, she said yes. Now, later on at 4:40, 4:45, 4:30 something, around that time, around now, she's now saying that she's not okay with it.
Okay, well,
Jaden,
I'm just confused is all. That's all. That's all. I'm just confused.
the court is considering expanding the visits to an overnight up here, and then basically asking that at least one of the visits, one of the other visits, just the day visits, be by you alone. So you might talk about that after the hearing.
Your Honor, before we do anything like that, the GAL really needs to have a chance to give input. I mean, an overnight in general, especially when a sex offender wasn't disclosed, for example, is a problem. So I'd ask that before we either brief and come back on a motion on that particular part, or we have some sort of GAL involvement in making that decision. That overnights are a big time. There's a lot of downtime. There's no bouncy houses. There's nothing like that. There's just a child getting up 15 times in the night. There's a child wetting themselves. There's all kinds of things that go into having a child overnight that most people that don't have a child that young don't recognize. And those of us who do realize how incredibly stressful and it can be. So I'd ask that before we make any of those decisions, Mr. Anagnostic and I can both write a little brief or have the GAL involved, but not make that decision today when we haven't heard from her.
Just a minute, Mr. Ludwig. It's going to be a while before we get back to this case. And again, I see growth on the part of Mr. Ludwig. I see growth in the relationship between him and Ms. Crape that I appreciate. Everybody's expressed that they like Michelle and that she tends to be helpful around Jaden. And so those are the pieces I'm looking at. I guess if counsel want to.
We can come back on the 9th. I don't know if because we were doing this on Thursdays or the 11th. On either of those days that we can come into your normal minor guardianship and for expanded visitation.
We would like to get them expanded, and it's my understanding that you're saying it would be one visit and it would be up here, so that would avoid any issue with and my clients are not going to let Michelle's son be around Jalen, because that's just a violation of his rules. And so but it would be up here, one visit.
That's what I'm looking at. The 9th is already, I've got really a lot of cases that day. The 16th, I've
Yes.
only got one, so we'd have some time to discuss that.
Are you
No,
doing the docket on the 11th or no?
I am on the 11th. I assume I'll be doing that. That's actually for odd numbers. I guess we could put it on. But I'm thinking if you want to brief it, there needs to be time to respond.
Yeah.
I'm willing to put it on the 16th for the issue of expanding visitation.
The 16th or the 11th?
The 16th of May.
The 17th,
I'm sorry, what?
16th is not.
The 16th is Tuesday. That would be
Over minor guardianship, got it.
the minor guardianship on the 16th. All right. So let me just tell you what I'm considering is allowing one overnight a month. Michelle would need to be in attendance, and it would have to be in this area. And then the second requirement, I guess, that I'd like to discuss is having one of the 4 weeks that Mr. Ludwig comes down, he needs to be completely alone with Jalen during that time.
And Your Honor, just so everybody's aware, what we'll be asking for in that time is an evaluation.
I think we can look at that. I know Ms. Farr has already commented on that. She certainly has commented on a parenting plan or parenting class. I mean, we can talk about it. Certainly those things would be helpful when this case goes to a full guardianship hearing. Ms. Farr, appreciate you being here all day.
Your Honor, so I just want to bring up a procedural issue, and that is that I was appointed as a court visitor. So if we're going to go expanding into other issues long-term, I probably need to be appointed as the GAO. And I would need to be able to have some cooperation with Mr. Ludwig with communication and going forward. I know that he's not happy with my report. I understand that, but we still have to continue through the investigation.
So would you see being appointed the GAL in the emergency case or the full guardianship case, or both?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, as I said to the court, I will be putting this on the trial setting docket for the same day, hopefully getting them together.
Right.
And so it would facilitate not having to come back to another hearing.
Okay. Okay. And you may want to cite, I saw in 225 where it says they can be combined. So you may want to bring that to the court's attention.
I will. Thank you.
At the time, actually, the 17th, I'll be doing the trial setting, so I'll be able to guide that to some extent. Okay, let's come back on the 16th, and we'll talk about where visitation goes. I'll do the 2 orders. Ms. Farr probably won't be till Monday, but I'll do those. Ms. Craig, please.
I'm sorry, just so I have full understanding, right now, visitation stays as is until we come back on this. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
As is, no change, except it sounds like it's a little bit fluid with you and Mr. Ludwig. I don't want to get in the way of that.
No, if he wants to pick her up early for a visit, I'm still totally okay with that.
Okay, but to consider the overnights, we'll do that on the 16th.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Farr, can you be here at that hearing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. All right. Let me go around, Mr. Ananias, any questions?
No, I just wanted to point out my client is signaling he has a question.
Okay, I'll go around to everybody. Mr. Ludwig, go ahead.
I just wanted to make sure what time on court, because I don't believe you said anything about what time on the It would be
On the 16th will be 10:30
Okay.
in the morning.
Okay.
That's a good question.
17th will be fine.
Okay. And
17th will be fine.
Oh, and my clerk is reminded me that I should let you know this. The 17th, when a new trial date is set, will be at 1 p.m. And that will also be on Zoom. Now, your attorney can take care of that. You don't really have to be there on the 17th, but you can be if you want to.
I will be, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Crape, any questions?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Winkles?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Farr?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, and looks like everybody else are witnesses. I really appreciate everybody's time today. As I said, it's a Friday afternoon, and
This case continues in part 2, where we'll watch a series of pretrial review hearings to discuss whether they'll expand visitation before the full trial. You don't want to miss it.